Chimigwich, Keegan, and the Eastern drummers, Easterns. So we will now, and thank you very much for this grand entry song. I will now call upon the flag song. Thank you. The Eastern Eagles, can you please now proceed with the victory song? We will now ask for the flags to be posted. Chimigwich, Keegan, and the Eastern Eagles. Chimigwich. So we will now begin pretty soon. And I thank the delegation, the procession. Thank you very much, Chimigwich. I will now turn the floor over to my dear colleague, Youth Co-Chair Hailey Rose, for the next item on the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. I think you were waiting for my advice for the next. So please be seated. You're welcome to be seated. Thank you, Miigwech.
Thank you to our respected leaders, our veterans, our dignitaries, our chiefs, our proxies, for welcoming us in a good way and honoring the ones that came before us, honoring our ancestors, and honoring our veterans who fought for us in war. Thank you to our drummers, our singers, for singing. Next, I want to invite up our elder, our respected elder, Elder Edward Purley from Nigutkuk, also known as Tobik First Nation, to open us up in a good way, to start us off in a good way, this assembly. I want to invite up Elder Edward Purley, if he could come up here.
Kwe, Wuli Exepo, Wuli Zabawil. Want to welcome all our family that come from across Turtle Island home here into the east. Want to acknowledge the residential school survivors, the murdered and missing Indigenous women and boys. Also want to acknowledge our grandparents, our grandmothers and our grandmothers, grandfathers. Also acknowledge our women, our children, and our men. Also acknowledge our leadership, chiefs, and all the councils, and all the technicians that are here. No, the Lewis DTS, the Wig, Skobna Gikuk, Naganegotkuk, Walida Hajud Bemgeskak, Sakazaki, Kamaj, Walida Haz Bemgeskak. My name is Ditias, which also translates into the Blue Jay. I'd like to tell people now that you know my name. When you're out there in the world and you see that Blue Jay, that's me coming to visit you. I always caution people, don't feed the Blue Jay because you can't get rid of them. That's why I keep coming back to the AFN assemblies. This morning I attended a sunrise ceremony thinking that I would be able to pick up some tips on how to conduct myself, and people were giving me money. It's like, wow. But anyway, on a more serious note, but I was thinking, this morning about some of our best prayers, some of our best medicines, our laughter and our tears. It's always important to acknowledge our thoughts, our feelings, and our voices and our tears. I was going to sing an honor song this morning, but Eastern Eagle beat me to it. So I'm going to do a prayer song, and it's the Ojibwe Bear, one of the Ojibwe Bear song. I'm going to do it in the Wolastoqey language. I feel that all the languages are the same language, it's just different dialects. And my understanding is that when our people used to visit one another across Turtle Island, one of the ways of welcoming our people was by the sacred fire and also songs. So this morning, I want to share a bear song. I'm going to ask the bear to come be with us over the next few days to give us the strength and the love. And I just want to say that unfortunately, Grand Chief Norman Siliboy wasn't able to attend this morning's gathering because unfortunately there was a death in his family and his community. So I'm going to ask all of us at this moment to think about all of the people that's gone before us, our ancestors. Think about all the ones that ain't here yet, and also think of the ones that are present here this morning. Think about the people that you know back home that are going through difficulties. People in our families that's passed on most recently. And I want to honor all of our families, all of our people, and extend our condolences to Grand Chief Norman Siliboy's family and community. Aho Waliwan. Chigalwazit. Gijolina Spitax Nigwison. Chigalwazin Mosum Signog Musik Cheap Log and Nigwison. Spunkeeltiek, skitmeeltiek. Kamajoli das bemgeskak, chip mouse wagon. Waliuna elgeskak, bemgeskak. De bat jimleben bemgeskak, kizipo. Ujokem eben. Stume dat wel go saatiek, hello katiek, almagazi. Ujokem on a mouse, we know. Gelwag, peas and septuinen. Olsen wagon, Ginson wagon. Sankewidas wagon, Nagagazelm wagon. Nagajiali awing Sinoke wagon. Giwak majeptun yan itel. Ipcho gakid wagon itel. Nagagalwag peas and septuinen. Ipcho giwagazel mopa. Yukten agazalmanen. Middle age. Migwedge will all in. Will even migwedge. So just want to say, our ancestors want to let each and every one of you to know that's here present today, that isn't present, that's on Zoom. If nobody told each and every one of you today that they love you, our ancestors want you all to know that they all love us all. Miigwech, thank you.
Gananaskamitin, hi, Elder Edward Purley, for the beautiful prayer this morning and opening up our assembly in a good, positive way to protect us and, to not bring that negative energy into this room, to always be bright and positive. And I thank you for opening us up in a good way. I'm going to pass it off to our co-chair here to introduce the next speaker. Thank you.
Miigwech, Kananaskaman, Miigwech. At this point, it is, I believe it is 19 minutes after 9 local time, Atlantic time, and we'd like to officially call this assembly to order. We would like to formally introduce ourselves as your co-chairs for this assembly. Ego miwen stem gwajimna gakna ma gabijayig. Ego nada jwegabo ndjnkaz na meben dodem. Nengo zaganing donji ego dan shinyo. Ego nanakum nongum gagjebayag. Miigwech ndana gawino gagi pakana mwaj. Kchihag yue gagi pakana mwaj. Gagi shawenda mwaj. Wenongum gagi jgak. Gawi mawe chidyak wen sigijga. Nanakuma mando migeni nejbak senamag. Janigani tamagwek. Jamashko gabo nanong. Kwayak jadajnjanong sago jago tabaten monang. Jon semagak yue nanon dagwazon. Ego kwayak bayatag jadajnjanong. My English name is Adam Fiddler. I am Anshinna from Sandy Lake First Nation in northwestern Ontario. I am a lawyer. I focus on not what Canada might call Aboriginal law, but I focus on our laws as the first people of this land. And it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be sitting with my colleagues. It's great to have a youth co-chair for this assembly, so the three of us will be navigating the agenda, the very important discussions that will be taking place over the next 3 days. So again, it's an honor to be here. We look forward to very positive discussions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues for introductions.
Miigwech, Adam. Koi, bonjour.
Hello to everyone, to the whole delegation.
As I already noted a bit earlier, I'll be speaking or making sure that French is covered here to respect the whole delegation. Either you're here in person or on the Zoom platform. Alors, il me fait plaisir de me
So it's a pleasure for me to introduce myself. My name is Wina Siwi. I am honored to be one of your co-chairs for this AGA of the APN. My name is Wina, and I want to get go over what Adam just said. My English and French is Wendat and is Winna. So I had this chance to have to be born with this Wendat name, and I'm thanking my family for this. I'm a lawyer, I'm a mediator, and I'm also working in the defense and the advancement of the protection of the rights and interests of all of our First Nations in all of Turtle Island. So I'm thanking you for being here, and I would like to also to present our co-president Heidi Iwo, and she's the youth co-chair. It's her first experience, so please be patient and be encouraging, and a smile. It's always something that's the most beautiful thing in an assembly. In our discussions of very important work in the next 3 days, we always have to keep a smile, and I will make sure to ensure that we always smile, and it's not always easy, on top of taking care of the timekeeping. So,
Assembly to you all. Thank you.
Good morning, Mia Gisagao. Nitsi wagana kegwa ni wagumagantik kita tamska tinawao. Haley Rose Nitsiga son egwa ne hio wa piki ho. Mosquito grizzly bear's head lean man egwa red pheasant First Nation Ochinia. Treaty 4 and 6 Territory Saskatchewan. Hello my friends and relatives, I greet you all this morning. I shake your hand with a good heart, and I come to you from Mosquito and Red Pheasant First Nation. I was gifted a beautiful name not long ago, White Eagle Woman. And that's a name that I want to be recognized by, but also my other name, Haley Rose. I was elected as Saskatchewan's youth representative last April, representing the 74 First Nations under Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations. And recently that title changed to Saskatchewan's Youth Chief alongside our male youth chief, Brock Makaudwa Didika. It's been an honor to be in this space. I've attended many assemblies. I think I'm going on my 4th now. And it's always been an honor and a privilege to be in these spaces as a young person, but also as a young leader, to be mentored and to learn from you all, from our leadership. But also, you know, I've always respected our older ones in the room as well. And so I want to thank you, our elders, our knowledge keepers, and our veterans for being here and making this space safe. They make the space safe for everyone to feel welcome and to protect us. And so I want to remind you all that there's very important decisions that are made here throughout the next couple of days. And we have to remember the 7 sacred teachings, the 7 teepee teachings, or the 7 grandfather teachings, whatever you call it in your territory. To remember to respect one another, to love one another, use that humility, that honesty, use our intergenerational wisdom, to use that in these spaces, hold each other accountable, but also remember that you have a responsibility back home to make decisions that benefit our young people and our youth, and that the ones that are coming before us. So I want to thank everyone for your patience. To be standing up here is a lot for me, and I appreciate it so much. So thank you, and I'm looking forward to the next couple of days, and I hope that important decisions and important discussions are made. So ginanaskamitin, hi, thank you.
Miigwech, thank you very much to our youth co-chair. It's very good again to have a youth representative sitting up here with us just to help steer the discussions taking place. At this point, I would like to acknowledge the land that we are on. Of course, Jibuktuk. Jibuktuk is where we are. In a modern context, it is called the city of Halifax. But the territory that we are in is Mi'kma'ki. So I'd like to acknowledge the land and the territory that we are conducting our business here over the next few days. We'd like to now proceed with the host officials and the territorial welcome. So we do have 2 interim regional chiefs for Nova Scotia, and I'd like to introduce the 2 representatives, the interim regional chiefs. We'll have Andrea Paul as well as Chief Leroy Denny. So I believe we'll start with Chief Paul. If we can have Chief Leroy will be going first. Miigwech.
Oh, hola, amigo. Whiskey. Hola, tío. Uldasia. Uldasia. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of Samak. Which day I'm Tami. I'm sick of no deal. Bejidai Giskoga Chibuktuk. Mawidai Chuda. Don't have to move. What do you know? Switching no, I'm said. What does he aim? I would not Jilida. I'm said. I just want to say, Jilida, welcome to Jibuktuk. Jibuktuk here in Mi'kma'ki, district of Sibiganegadi. And this is where Jibuktuk, our traditional gathering place of our people since time immemorial. It is a sacred location for the Mi'kmaq here, and it is here in Jibuktuk where several of our pre-Confederation peace and friendship treaties are part of the covenant chain that were signed here. Peace and friendship treaty foundations are rooted in Mi'kmaq legal principles of peace, in our distinct and unique treaties set our obligations of how we act and how we treat one another. We got to get into the The peace and friendship treaties include burying of the hatchet ceremonies as part of one of the treaty-making ceremonial procedures. Peace and friendship sprouted from Mi'kma'ki. It is the Mi'kmaq law. So I'm really happy all the chiefs from everywhere. So I want to thank our elder Ed for the opening prayer and the song. I would like to thank our host drum, Eastern Eagle. Finally, I want to recognize and thank each and every one of you, all the chiefs, all the leaders, and all our participants. We want to welcome you here in Jibuktuk. Thank you for being here, whether in person or even virtually. We have come together in this way to help each other grow and thrive as people and as nations. And as Mi'kmaq, we exist as a nation within many nations. Welcome here in Mi'kma'ki. It's like a circle within many circles. We are interconnected and interdependent from coast to coast to coast. It is part of who we are as a Ulnu people, as we are as indigenous people. I don't know if other nations, Ulnu means us, our people, indigenous. And although we are different, we share a common dream, a dream of an improved life with good health and well-being of all the people we represent. As we came in the grand entry, we listened to the Mi'kmaq Honor Song by George Paul. And this song was sung by Eastern Eagle. It was written by George Paul. And this song came to him while he was fasting, and as some of you call it, a vision quest. I will translate some of the words because it's really important, since they remind us of the reason why we have from different parts of Turtle Island come together. In the song, it says, let us greatly respect our nativeness, our indigenous ways. My people, let us gather. mawidanish. Gibnele menesh dan wedebek sultig. Let us greatly respect our ancestral roots. Nigimashtut abol madutnish. My people, let us help one another. Be there for one another. Abol madutnish dan kisuk wala aj wala sitkamuk. Let us help one another according to the Creator's intention to putting us on the planet. These words brought us through ceremony, remind of who we are as Ulno people, indigenous people. As we gather, let's not forget the teachings brought to us by our Creator, Gizuk, our Creator. So while we honor you and purpose by which we come together, we ask that you please honor us. Please honor us by respecting our teachings here in this territory, which has sustained us since the beginning of time. When we gather as Ulno people, our hearts become our nation's spirit. Our language is very sacred to us, and you will hear our language here often here in Mi'kmaq. And I just want to mention that Mi'kmaq is the official language here in the province of Nova Scotia. It's the official language, and I call on many provinces, all the chiefs across the country, to talk to their premiers, talk to the province to make our languages official language in their respected territories and provinces. So I just want to mention that. Our language is very sacred. We have to save it. It is very sacred, and we have to revitalize our languages, indigenous languages.
Miigwech, thank you very much. Chief Leroy Denny of Eskasoni, but also currently co-interim regional chief for Nova Scotia. Next, I will ask Chief Andrea Paul, who is also co-interim regional chief for Nova Scotia, for her welcoming remarks.
I'm pretty short. I just wanted to say thank you to Chief Leroy. Thank you to our elder for the prayer and to lead us in a good way. Thank you to our drum group that opened us up for the day. Before I start, I'm going to ask a really weird thing. Jonathan, if you could come up for a second. I've been trying to get him to come up. He's being shy. Oh, so Jonathan is my council member, and we were trying to connect this morning, so I'm going to do it right now. I was trying to connect with him this morning so I could grab my shirt. Because I think it's important that we remember that we are strong. We are Mi'kmaq strong. We are Indigenous strong. So I was hoping to wear this when I came in to remind us of who we are as Ulnu people. And I'm honored to be here. So Jonathan is my council member, and I will say he is also a vendor, I believe, at this conference. And he designed these shirts, so I'm really proud of that. So I'll stick with my speaking notes. It's a really beautiful thing when we gather through ceremony and prayer. The smell of sage, sweetgrass, and cedar. The beat of a drum, which many of us believe to be the heartbeat of our Earth Mother. Many of you can feel a presence when you enter this room. For some, it's like an opening that comes from within. An opening that gives us permission to feel and sense the love, connection, and support. These are our ancestors, those who have walked before us. They're here to help us find our path through the many present and challenging issues we face as Innu people. Chief Leroy spoke to you about honor and the purpose by which we gather. I would like to speak to you about balance. Within your registration packages, you will find a silver pin. Don't know, did you all get your silver pin? It is a Mi'kmaq petroglyph located at the Bedford Barrens, which is about a half-hour drive from here. It is also the logo for the Office of the Regional Chief of Nova Scotia. One meaning this petroglyph represents its balance. A balance between two worlds which are contained within a sphere of energy. This ball of energy represents the human energy field. The two triangles from left to right come together to support the structure that represents the above-ground world, the realm of the seen or visible world. The two triangles, up and down, come together to support the structure that represents the underworld, the realm of the unseen or invisible. The spiral in the middle represents the movement of energy between these two realms and the need for humans to maintain a balance between these two worlds. When these worlds are in balance, they support the flow of energy for the divine human structure. This balance supports inner wholeness and outer well-being. We share these teachings to help support the purpose of this gathering. We support this gathering with much honor and balance. We honor you and ask that you respect our teachings and the spirit of this land. Thank you, Wilaliek, for being a part of this wonderful event and sharing your spirit. Wilalio.
Miigwech, thank you very much, Interim Regional Chief Andrea Paul. So at this point, we'd like to call upon for opening remarks the Mayor of Halifax, Mayor Mike Savage. If he can please welcome Mayor Savage, who is on his way up to the podium.
Good morning, Gwei, Jalazi, Weli Exit Bug, Ep Jalasiak, Waldauzi, Gizi, Juguwen. Bonjour à tous, je suis très heureux.
Hello to you all. I'm very pleased to be with you here today.
Welcome, and I'm so glad to be here. I also begin by acknowledging that the Halifax Regional Municipality is on the traditional, the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We're all beneficiaries of the peace and friendship treaties in this land, Jabuktuk, in the territory of Mi'kma'ki. It's an honor for us to host the First Nations leaders from coast to coast, representing more than 630 First Nations communities here at the 44th Annual General Assembly. It's especially true at a time when we as a city are working very closely on building a more conscious and positive working relationship with the Mi'kmaq people and other Indigenous communities here at home. At this point in Canada's history, as in the history of our own city of Halifax, the issues of truth and reconciliation are very much in the public square. It's been a long time coming, but for all of us, I believe, and I believe we can work together to honor our past, fix the mistakes, and forge a better future. To that end, I got to say how excited I am not only to host this event, but next week the North American Indigenous Games are going to be right here in Jabuktuk. 5,000 Indigenous athletes, as well as coaches and team staff from more than 750 nations from all over North America to Jabuktuk for the 2023 North American Indigenous Games starting this weekend. This is such a big event for us. I well remember traveling to Montreal with a community group for the bid presentation. We were led by the great Tex Marshall, a great Mi'kmaq athlete. And when we heard it was such a proud moment, I even danced the traditional Mi'kmaq dance, the Gorjua, and we still won. So we're pretty excited. Now, after a pandemic delay that nobody could have foreseen, we're absolutely delighted to have this opportunity to celebrate Indigenous athletes and to celebrate Indigenous and Mi'kmaq culture in what is the largest multi-sport event in all of Atlantic Canadian history. Long after the Games, our city will continue to work to build a conscious, positive working relationship with the Mi'kmaq Nation and the Indigenous community. We've done a few things that we're proud of. We've added Mi'kmaq language to our welcome signs, commissioned Mi'kmaq public art on the Halifax Common, partnered to have the first the Downey Wenjack legacy space of any government building in Canada. We're working to reconcile our city's founding with a future that creates trust, respect, progressive relationships. I look forward to my council, and we have city council beginning at 10 o'clock, so I'll have to leave to go to that. But our council will be meeting with chiefs this Friday. We've also taken some important work by implementing the wise and thoughtful recommendations of the task force on commemoration, looking at appropriate means of recognizing our history and the cultural contribution of the Mi'kmaq people throughout the municipality. I want to acknowledge the passing recently of Elder Dr. Dan Paul, who was a great human being. I had many conversations with Dan. His book, We Were Not the Savages, and his work after that had a lot to do with reconciliation between the Mi'kmaq and the Crown and the government here in Halifax. And I well remember our beautiful day in June, not too many years ago, when we had taken down the statue of Edward Cornwallis and we turned that park into a park called Peace and Friendship Park. And on that day, in that beautiful park, on that beautiful day, Danny Paul sat on the bench for hours thinking about an important step that had been taken. But he was quoted as saying, "Good things often happen when people get to know each other." So to Danny's family and relations and many, many friends across the country, and certainly here, I extend my deepest regret. And thanks for that amazing life of Elder Dr. Dan Paul. So we have some things that we've done, but there's more to do. I want you to know I extend to the Mi'kmaq and all Indigenous peoples my respect and my desire to build stronger relationships in the spirit and the intent of our treaties and in keeping with the principles of the TRC. I want to thank very much the Assembly of First Nations for bringing this year's AGA to Halifax. Thank you, merci à tous, Walalia.
Miigwech, thank you very much, Mayor Mike Savage. Next, I'd like to call upon from Nova Scotia, the Minister of Innu Affairs, Carla McFarlane. If we can have Minister McFarlane approach the podium for her welcoming remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Jalasi, welcome. I want to first just say what an honor. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here today. You'll be happy to know that my speech I have just made short because a lot of what I wanted to say has been said by the mayor, and we're just really, really honored that you're here. It's very clear, as demonstrated earlier, that the beating of the drum has made it very clear that we are in Mi'kma'ki and we are in Shabuktuk. As Minister of All New Affairs, I want to let you know that it is my great pleasure, though, to be here today on behalf of Premier Tim Houston and our government. We are pleased that you all took time to come to our beautiful province, and I know that you have a lot of work ahead of you as you hold your deliberations. I wish you all the best in these discussions. I know that there will be some emotions, no doubt, during these discussions, and it's always we're always grateful to have an elder, and today Elder Ed, to open these events with a prayer to set that tone so that we can be patient with one another and take time to listen to one another and really go away with our thoughts as we move forward together. I do hope, though, that in the coming days that you will take some time to explore this beautiful province. It really is an incredible province surrounded by water. Many of you may be here for the first time. We really do hope you get to explore a little bit. And I understand that a number of cultural activities have been organized by Regional Chief Paul Prosper and his team. So I hope you get to enjoy some of them as well. It is the East Coast way here. We are always open to welcoming people to our beautiful province, and we are known for our hospitality. As Minister of All New Affairs, I've had the privilege of visiting Mi'kmaq communities throughout Nova Scotia. I can honestly say it's changed my life. These visits have provided an opportunity to meet Mi'kmaq leaders, elders, and community members. Some, yes, I've known before politics, but I've learned so much from the time I've been able to spend in community. It has certainly helped me grow as an individual on a personal level, but as well as on a professional level. As Chief Leroy referenced earlier, Mi'kmaq is the original language of Nova Scotia. This was within weeks of becoming the minister responsible for All New. I had the pleasure of meeting Chief Leroy, and this was something that he brought to my attention, that they had been fighting for decades, centuries, to bring back their language. And this will be the #1 thing that I take away from my political career. I've been doing this job for 10 years. Who knows how long this gig is, but I'll tell you, this is the #1 thing that I am most proud of, is being able to put that piece of legislation into action. So thank you, Chief Leroy. As we all know, summertime is a great time to visit Nova Scotia. There's a lot of excitement for the month of July. As mentioned earlier, more than 5,000 participants to the North American Indigenous Games. This sport competition and cultural festivities officially get underway on Saturday. We are so excited. It is the largest multi-sport event ever hosted in Atlantic Canada. And I will be taking in as many events as I can. It's going to be an incredible journey to see over 750 plus Indigenous nations here. And we're proud to be hosting the Games and have made every effort to be sure that they are a success for everyone involved. I hope you can stay and help cheer on many of our young Indigenous athletes across Turtle Island. I want to thank the Assembly of First Nations for choosing to host the annual General Assembly here in Halifax. In particular, thanks to Regional Chief Prosper, now Senator Prosper, for his hard work to bring you together in Nova Scotia. I want to congratulate Chief on his appointment to the Senate. Incredible, and thank him for his service. It's been an honor for the province and myself personally to work with him in a role with the Assembly of First Nations, and I look forward to continuing to work together in his Senate role. And just in closing, I will have to say that another thing I will take away and cherish for the rest of my life, and I will probably never get another opportunity to do it, is how I was welcomed to march in with the Chiefs. I was like, no, I shouldn't be there. And I was so welcomed. And it was emotional walking with the Chiefs and knowing that they embraced me to join them and walking in. What a privilege, something I will always, always keep in my heart. And on that note as well, in this role for the last 2 years, having the opportunity to go around and visit the 13 First Nations communities in Nova Scotia, I want to give a shout out to all the chiefs and their band members and people of their communities for always welcoming me, always making me feel that I had a sense of belonging. That really means a lot. And I know that we've done a lot of great work in the last 2 years. We have a lot of more work to get done, and I'm with you. So Walalio.
Miigwech, Gananachuman, Minister Carla McFarlane. I'll turn it over now to my colleague Weena Siwi to introduce the next speaker.
Miigwech, Adam, and miigwech to all of you that came and speak and address the Assembly this morning. And on that, nous allons maintenant.
Now we will invite to come to the podium the Interim National Chief and the Regional Chief for New Brunswick, Chief Joanna Bernard.
Interim National Chief. He's coming.
"33 years ago today, July 11th, was the standoff of the Oka crisis. There were warriors, and today we continue the warrior fight. I just thought I would bring that to everyone's attention. It's been 33 years today. Kwe. I am Joanna Bernard, the Interim National Chief and the APTN Regional Chief for New Brunswick. Okay. Teleprompter's not working. Before we begin, I want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people and on Mi'kmaq land. I extend my appreciation to my elder, Ed Burley from Tobic First Nation, for opening this assembly in a good way, and also for the drummers, Eastern Eagles. Thank you. Waliwan Malalan. On behalf of the Assembly of First Nations, I welcome the elders, knowledge keepers, veterans, chiefs, leaders, youth, 2S LGBTQIA+ members, and delegates to the 44th Annual General Assembly. This gathering holds great significance as it brings together hundreds of First Nations leaders representing the diversity and strength of our communities from coast to coast to coast. I have something in my notes here in regards to Danielle and Paul. I think it was noted, and I just want to again say he will be sorely missed. It was, he passed away on June 27, 2023, and he was 84 years old, the author of We Are Not the Savages. It is here at the Annual General Assembly that we begin to encourage a meaningful dialogue and decision-making on important matters, directing the work of the AFN, my work as the Interim National Chief, and the Executive Committee through resolutions. This week, we will discuss and make decisions on key priorities such as UNDRA, climate action, safe drinking water, specific claims, policing, governance, and residential institutions, among others. These discussions will shape the future direction of our collective efforts and ensure that our voices are heard on the matters that impact our communities directly. I want to highlight the importance of the Assembly as a space for collaboration, unity, and empowerment. It is through open dialogue, the sharing of knowledge, and the sharing our diverse perspectives that we can address the challenges we face and work towards a better future for all nations, all First Nations, a future that reflects our values, respects our traditions, and honors the sacred bond we share with our lands, waters, and ancestors. The Assembly is a time for us to reflect on our achievements, address our challenges, and chart a collective path forward. However, it is a moment marked by recent events that have brought significant changes within our leadership. As many of you are aware, First Nations in Assembly passed a resolution at the AFN-SCA Special Chiefs Assembly on June 28th to remove the former National Chief from her position following a human resource investigation. We know the decision that was not taken lightly and was a result of careful consideration by the leadership and representatives of our nations. The resolution signifies our commitment to accountability, transparency, and upholding the values of our governance. While these circumstances have created a period of transition and reflection within our organization, it is essential to remember that the strength of the AFN and the AFN Executive Committee lies within the leadership, unity, and resilience of our nations. We have overcome many challenges throughout our shared history, and we will continue to do so. As Interim National Chief, my focus remains on working forward with our current priorities, restoring confidence in our organization by ensuring that the voices of First Nations are heard and respected by all. We must address recent changes head on by taking responsibility for our shortcomings and working towards rebuilding staff morale, confidence, and trust. Steps we are taking including enhancing our whistleblower policies, code of conduct, harassment reporting processes to create a safe and supportive environment where all individuals can speak up without fear of retaliation. I am dedicated to maintaining stability and upholding transparency, accountability, and good governance. It's important to understand that the AFN is an advocacy body and not a government. AFN is a chiefs organization, and your collective voices shape its direction and mandate. The AFN does not represent all 634 First Nations individually. Our role is to advocate on behalf of First Nations collectively, as directed and mandated by the chiefs through approved resolutions and assemblies. Our work is guided by the AFN Charter, ensuring that our actions and advocacy efforts align with the values and principles set forth by the chiefs. Our voices, mandates, and guidance are essential in driving our work and collective priorities forward. Allegations were made by the former National Chief regarding AFN's financial management. Our financial statements have been independently audited every year over the past decade. And in every one of those years, auditors verified the statements as accurate. While no evidence has been found to substantiate these claims, it is essential to address the concerns and uphold transparency and accountability. We will continue to support the implementation of Resolution 3, 2022, as directed by the Chiefs, which directs the Chiefs Committee on Charter Renewal to conduct a review of financial policies and practices and provide a report with recommendations to the First Nations in Assembly. This includes examining the AFN's financial decisions, staff payouts, and contracts for the last decade. I reaffirm my support for the Chiefs Committee on Charter Renewal to carry out their important work, that the committee, if the committee believes a forensic audit is necessary, we will follow that guidance. It is our responsibility to ensure that the funds allocated to the AFN are managed properly. Any concerns expressed by the Chief will be addressed. As we move forward, I am committed to addressing the pressing issues that affect our communities. This includes continuing the important work of leading and supporting the portfolios on 2S LGBTQ rights and ending violence against women. It is critical that we work to amplify our voices, protect our rights, and prioritize their well-being to create safe and inclusive communities. By staying focused and unified, we can make significant progress to advance the rights and well-being of our people, to address systemic injustices, and to forge a path towards self-government and self-sufficiency. As we approach the Special Chiefs Assembly in December 2023 and the next National Chief election, it is my hope that we continue to see strong women leaders within our organization, as their perspectives are critical to our success. However, we should focus on selecting a candidate who is guided by unity and shared vision of a brighter future regardless of gender. Today, we will begin the assembly. Let us focus at the tasks at hand. It is our duty to engage in open, constructive dialogue to address the pressing issues facing our communities and to ensure that the voices of our people are heard and represented effectively. While acknowledging recent changes, we must not lose sight of broader goals to strive to achieve together, In closing, I want to express my gratitude to all those who have worked to organize this assembly: elders, knowledge keepers, veterans, chiefs, leaders, youth, 2S LGBTQ+A+ members, delegates. I wish you, a productive and thoughtful assembly as we push forward to provide new mandates for the AFN and to reaffirm our shared commitment to a brighter future for our nations. Waliwan, Walawan, thank you, merci.
Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup, Chef National.
Thank you very much, Interim National Chief Joanna Bernard, for your opening words, and thank you for these positive and encouraging words. Now we will continue to the next subject on the agenda. That is to say, the presentation of the different council reports.
Just to let you know that if you can't understand when I speak in French, I invite you to, when you have a chance, if it's not, if you didn't have do that by now, I invite you to go in the back to take a translation device. And on that, I'm going to turn back to French. Merci. Alors, nous allons maintenant entendre les...
Thank you. Now we will continue with the council reports. 5 reports will be presented, starting with the Knowledge Keepers Council report, then the Women's Council report, then the Veterans Council. The 4th will be the National Youth Council. And finally, the 5th report, we will hear the 2SLGBTQIA+ report. This being said, I will invite the AFN Knowledge Keepers Council
and Charles Hume to come and join me, please, on the stage for the report you have to you want to present to the delegation here. Yeah, thank you. So, Dr. Point and Charles Hume, are you present in the room? If you are, I think I saw you, so I saw you a bit earlier. Oh, here they are. And Larry is not cooperating with me right now. It's giving me a hard time, but it's okay. Huh? It's our role to always adapt. So thank you very much. So the Knowledge Keeper Council, Dr. Gwendolyn Point and Mr. Charles Hume, thank you very much.
to our Interim National Chief, to our regional chiefs, to our knowledge keepers, and to all the leadership in the room, online, to our AFN staff, and I know each region brings staff with them. It's my honor at this time that we do the oath of office for our Interim National Chief, and that both Chuck is our co-chair, Chuck Hume, and that we will witness the oath of office. I tip.
So what you will do, okay, is you'll come forward, you'll read the oath of office, okay, you'll read it, and then you'll sign it down here. Okay. So go right to the microphone, and I have a pen right here.
2 copies?
You just read them one, yeah. Okay. Just read the first one.
Oath of office for Interim National Chief. I hear me. Elders, chiefs, and citizens of the First Nation, as well as friends and guests here assembled. In your sight and in your hearing, I, Joanna Bernard, take up the duties of Interim National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations. I solemnly promise, and sincerely pledge to fulfill these duties as they are outlined in the Charter to the best of my abilities. I solemnly promise and sincerely pledge to place the needs of the Assembly above my own comfort. I solemnly promise and sincerely pledge to watch for all dangers and to give you warning. I solemnly pledge, I promise and sincerely pledge to watch for opportunities to strengthen our people and to aid in all such efforts. Elders, chiefs, and citizens of First Nations, as well as friends and guests here assembled, you have heard my promise made without equivocation. I will ever call on the Great Spirit for wisdom and help carrying them out. Liwan Walalan, thank you, merci.
The second one. To be witnessed by the Elders Council chairs.
Thank you. Shashkawit te homo te squi and Helkamil the homo te stalo. My traditional name is Shashkawit and the language I speak is Halkamilam. And I'm the co-chair for our Knowledge Keepers Council with Chuck Hume. And I just want to acknowledge again our Interim National Chief and our regional chiefs, and to each one of you here in the room and online. On behalf of the Knowledge Keepers Council, we wanted to start the session by calling for a blanket. You'll see we have a blanket here on the floor. And we have an empty chair amongst our knowledge keepers. We want to cover that chair to honor a dear elder, a dear friend, and one of our knowledge keepers, late Phyllis Gugu, who represented Nova Scotia with dignity and with kindness, and a smile for whoever walked in the room. We want to thank her and her family for her service and thank Nova Scotia for sending her to our council. So we're going to leave the chair empty for the duration, and we're going to have it blessed and then sent home to her family. As well, on behalf of the Knowledge Keepers, the Assembly of First Nation has a long history. It dates back to the beginning of the National Indian Brotherhood. And it continued through the transition to the AFN. The Council were here to provide support and, to the AFN and guidance across the regions. And we know, we witness firsthand the work that happens. I know I do for our BC region. I attend their meetings, and I witness the work done in our region and as well in the national level. We're here to provide that historical, the spiritual, and cultural knowledge to support our council and the representatives. I want to take the time to introduce our council from each of the regions. And again, I represent British Columbia, along with Dr. Robert Joseph, as well as the newly appointed Simplian Gonzalez. You want to wave your hand, Dr. Joseph? Yeah. As well as I'll let Chuck introduce himself, who represents the Yukon. As well with Chuck, we have Mary Jane Jim and Lorraine Nitro. Raise your hand or stand. Good to see you. Northwest Territories, we have John Beckelly and Grace Blake. This is John. Alberta, we have Ivy Rain and Lawrence. You know, I have to pay if I say the name wrong. I'm going to say Lawrence C. I didn't bring any money with me. Saskatchewan, we have Joe, and I'm not saying your last name, Joe, Quewezance. Thank you. Joe is here somewhere. Manitoba, we have Emery Stagg. Okay. And Ontario, we have Terry Fiddler, Mani Chakabi, and Barney Baptiste. Quebec, we have Bill Sunday. And New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island, Eldon Bernard. And Eldon carried us through with the chair for a number of years and was, thank you, Eldon, for taking care of us. Nova Scotia, of course, is our dear elder that we wanted to honor today. I'm going to turn it over to co-chair.
Yes, thank you very much. It's been wonderful. And I'd like to say thank you to all the chiefs that are here. Tajong garati Daltheo Kanardana Shokathan Gaku Chena Soon Tajong Kunanshu Kani Da Shoku Chena Tajong Danan. What I said in my language is thank you to the chiefs for being here. Thank you for the elders for being here. And thank you for the youth for attending this. And I thank the people that come from this country for letting us use your land. We will look after it. Thank you very much. Now the key activities and accomplishments. The Knowledge Keepers Council has re-engaged portfolio discussions and has ensured that each AFN portfolio has an accompanying knowledge keeper to provide guidance. Members continue to update the Council on their portfolios at the Annual General Assembly and Special Chiefs Assemblies. The Council continues to meet as required via Zoom, teleconference calls to ensure they remain updated on current events that impact First Nations across the country. First Nations have always upheld protocols, traditions, and concerns through meetings. The Council continues to advocate that First Nation languages, traditions, and ceremonies are communicated and kept thriving as a foundation to creating stronger nations. The Council has been essential to the AFN's day-to-day business to keep traditions, values, languages, and history at the fore and work to ensure the success and well-being of the youth, just as our ancestors did for us. The Council continues to engage, provide support, and share information to elders within their regions. Throughout the year, the Council continues to make improvements to the Knowledge Keepers Council's terms of reference, TOR, and is always prepared to participate in the AFN's charter renewal process. The Council also participates and provides an advisory role in the Chiefs Committees by providing elder services. In the 2023-2024 year, the Knowledge Keepers Council will continue to meet to review and update protocols, traditions, ceremonies, roles, and responsibilities, assist and support the activities of the AFN Executive Committee, AFN staff, AFN Chiefs Committees, and councils. Conclusion, the Council will meet at the Annual General Assembly on July 10th to 13th, 2023 in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The Council will continue to provide its guidance as needed to the AFN. And I thank you for the day. And today I feel that we will accomplish a lot. And I think, you know, we as one people will always come together at a crucial time. And I come from the Yukon. My grandmothers, grandparents are all traditional people. And I learned my language at a very young age. So Kunishish, thank you. And also I come from the Whalehouse clan, Yahit, and Tlingit ancestry. Thank you very much. Kunishish.
We do have one more knowledge keeper from Prince Edward Island, Dr. Judy Clark. And to end, if I can ask for a moment of silence for our dear one that we lost, the late Phyllis Gugu. Please stand. So thank you. Turn it back to our chair.
Thank you. Hi to our AFN's Knowledge Keepers Council for the reports. I respect and honor your commitment to the Assembly of First Nations and also to your communities as well. I'd like to think of our elders and our knowledge keepers as my cookums and mushums and my nanas and papas. So thank you. Next, I'd like to welcome and introduce our AFN's Women's Council report from Deputy Grand Chief Anna Betty to come up here. I want to pronounce her name, but Anshni Pine Scum, Anna Betty, Deputy Chief.
Wache, me mango sat so kan is kwen is nikasan. Me gisin do dem. Na naskama gishamanito. Umanongam gishiga kaminyang. Agadas miswe. Kaminyang. Chminamatsang. Na naskama deske. Kishayak kagimichigat. Agadasha. Omagagi Mateagat. I introduced myself in my spirit name, but I will introduce myself in the name that is provided on my identification. My name is Anna Betty Achnibaneshkam, and I serve as a Deputy Grand Chief for Anishinaabe Nation, and I'm very honored to be here. And I also acknowledge the prayers that were shared by our knowledge keepers and the words of our knowledge keepers this morning. And I also acknowledge the drum and the sacred songs that were shared with us. I want to acknowledge our regional chiefs that are here with us and our Interim National Chief, and each and every one of you for being here today, and all the delegates that are watching from across our nations. At this time, I'm going to call each of my colleagues here on the AFN Women's Council to introduce themselves before we go into a brief report. Mingwich.
Hello, everybody. I'm Savannah McGregor. I'm the Grand Chief of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation Tribal Council, and I am one of the 2 representatives of women for Quebec and Labrador. Gotch.
Gwe, bonjour. I'm Nadia Robertson. I'm Elnu from the nation, La Nation Mi'kmaq de Gaspé, so Gaspé Mi'kmaq Nation, and I'm the spokesperson for the AFNQL Elected Women Council in Quebec.
Hello, my name is Kursawa. My Northern Tashani name is Eke'ewa, meaning caribou hoof noise. I am Kwanlin First Nations, and I am the women's rep for the Yukon region. Thank you.
I'm Melissa Moses. I'm the women's representative for the Union of BC Indian Chief, but I'm first here as proxy for my BC AFN women's rep, Louisa Hoosty-Jones.
Gwe, hello. My name is Jenny Brake. I'm the Western Vice Chief for Hollywood First Nation from Newfoundland, representing Newfoundland with the Women's Council as proxy for Chief Joanne Miles of Flat Bay.
I also want to acknowledge the chair of the Women's Council, Chief Connie Big Eagle, who is unable to be here with us, and we express our condolences to her and her family and extend our prayers to her as she suffered a loss in her family. So thank you very much, first of all, for providing us this time and space to to provide a brief report. And I also want to extend my my greetings to our Youth Council, our Knowledge Keepers, our Veterans Council, and the committee, the council of our LGBTQ2S committee council. As I said earlier, I serve as a Deputy Grand Chief for Anishinaabe Nation, and I represent Ontario on the AFN Women's Council. And our council has been quite active in terms of the implementation of the calls for justice. You know, on June 3rd, it marked 4 years since the Calls for Justice report was released. And it's during our gathering in Vancouver that was held this past winter, we had an opportunity to bring together families from across this country. And during that gathering, you know, the family stated that we must maintain that priority, that it be family focused, and that, you know, that we continue to raise the voices and stand with the families. And so I want to take this opportunity to raise my hand to the families in Manitoba who are supported by our Grand Chief, Kathy Merrick, as they boycott and blocked. There's a blockade at the landfill there because they believe that their loved ones are in that landfill. And you know, I ask that we keep them in our prayers while we are here. I also want to report that the AFN Women's Council continue to be active at the international level when it comes to ending violence, and also, you know, in terms of the implementation of the National Action Plan, we continue to be active in that. And also we continue to be active in terms of empowering our women, not only within our homelands, but all across this country in terms of supporting each other and internationally as well. Because we all know that, you know, throughout our history, like women have lost their power and their rights, and we continue to raise those issues. I also want to report that during the calls for justice, there was a report that was produced from that, and it's called Connecting Hearts and Making Change. And with that, you know, there is a strategy that we developed from that. And this particular strategy will focus on certain priorities, and one of them is for the implementation of the calls for justice. And we are going to be developing a report card process that we will continue to come and report back to you as leadership. And I also want to, there are some resolutions that we continue to monitor and support. And one of them was a resolution in terms of the forced and coerced sterilization. This is a resolution that we continue to support, ensuring that it is implemented. And lastly, I just want to you know, remind each and every one of you as leaders that in everything that we do, that it affects our children. Whether we're talking about UNDRIP, are the Indian residential institutions and promoting healing from that, are the justice, are the Métis assertion issue, that our economic development, education, all those things impact our children. And each and every one of us as leaders have a role and a responsibility to ensure that we always keep that in mind. You know, as you go and speak or as you make decisions, just visualize holding a child and ensuring that you are there to protect that child. And I know each and every one of you do fulfill that role, and I thank you for that. So on behalf of the AFN Women's Council, you know, we extend our well wishes to each and every one of you for a very successful meeting, and that we continue to treat each other with respect, and that we continue to walk with kindness. So thank you very much and ask my thing.
Thank you to our Women's Council for sharing their reports and bringing awareness to the issues that surround women when it comes to this country. So next I want to introduce our Veterans Council to do the reports. If I could welcome up Percy Joe. I'll just patiently wait. Ladies and gentlemen, Percy Joe.
Thank you very much. I'm Percy Joe, Chair of the First Nations Veterans Council. Before I get on, I'd like to recognize one of our longtime representatives who passed away. Can I have the blanket, please? We're covering a vacant seat on behalf of the recognition of our fellow veteran on the council, Jim Eagle, who passed away in April, who has contributed so much to the nation's thing. He was recognized as a representative at large and represented urban First Nations veterans. So just like have a moment of silence for Jim Eagle. Thank you very much. I'd like to call upon a fellow veteran, representative from the Northwest Territories, to present the report that we're delivering here today. So over to Tim O'Lone, the representative from Northwest Territories.
Thank you. Good morning.
Before I start, I'd like to introduce council members, and then I'll get them to stand, and other veterans as well. From the Yukon, we have Elder Chuck Hume. From British Columbia, we have Percy Joe. From Alberta, we have Henry Rain. From Saskatchewan, Emil Highway. Ontario, Manitoba is Chief Lawrence Letendre. Ontario is Wendy Jocko and Gerald McGregor. From New Brunswick is Eldon Bernard and Chief Terry Richardson. From Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, we have Alan Knockwood. At this time, I'd like to ask my fellow council members to please stand, and other veterans that may be in the room to please stand. I often say that I stand amongst heroes because all of these veterans have sworn an oath to the Crown to not only include their physical and mental health, but also, if required, to sacrifice their lives. And I'm humbled to be part of this council. So the First Nations Veteran Council has a long history of participating with the AFN. And in 2020, there was a resolution passed promoting the recognition and contribution of First Nations veterans, and that's the reason why we are here. The Council strives to assist and support First Nations veterans, their families, and their communities as well. The Council is comprised of veterans, some who have fought in international wars and conflicts, including peacetime missions as well. The objective is to ensure that there's a unified voice to the concerns raised by many veterans who have suffered from the trauma of service or war and the impacts on their families. Key activities for this year, we're very proud to have signed a letter of understanding with Veterans Affairs. The letter of understanding establishes 4 pillars with the Council and recognize priorities and areas for dialogue, research, and agreement with the Crown, Veterans Affairs, to ensure service delivery to their veterans. The 4 pillars include assess and expand outreach activities, to establish clear points of contacts for veterans at Veterans Affairs, to increase Indigenous representation and commemoration-related activities. This was very important so that we can go off to foreign battlefields and honor our veterans in our ceremonies the way we should always do so. We also support the establishment of a historical record of First Nation veterans and soldiers who have served in times of war and military conflict. With the establishment of this LOU, First Nations veterans has also created a working group to ensure that Veterans Affairs continues to implement this LOU, and we will continue to work with Veterans Affairs. Our next step moving forward is we will continue to review the current outreach activities provided by Veterans Affairs, including the success rates in reaching the intended recipients of veterans, continue to research establishing a national record of veteran soldiers who enlisted and fought in behalf of the Crown and our communities, and continue to hold meetings with Veterans Affairs for the development of the work plan to implement the 4 pillars. We'll continue to work with them throughout 2024. I do want to ask that everyone here go visit. There's a table downstairs, and everyone to visit, especially those from communities, to visit this table, and please take a card. This is a good way for Veterans Affairs to reach out to the communities. They're going to do as much work as they can, but please take a card. If you're from the communities, bring it back to your communities and hand that card to your veteran. As you may imagine, some may be suffering in silence, and this could be a lifesaver. On that card should be a number for the veteran if they wish to call Veterans Affairs and receive the supports that they deserve. I want to thank you. And I want to thank everyone here. Masi Cho. Thank you. Cheers.
Well, thank you to our AFN's First Nations Veterans Council for their reports. I want to thank Tim, the Northwest Territories rep, and Percy Joe for their commitment, their dedication, their fights, and their sacrifice that they've made for our nations to be here, and the oath that they've taken. And I recognize each and every one of you. So, thank you. Next, I want to introduce the AFN's National Youth Council with our co-chair Rosalie Bilowa and the newly elected co-chair Winter Dawn Lipscomb. So if I could please welcome them up.
Gwe Sitwen, Nindos Rosalie Bilowa, Andelewi, Okbi Ganchik, Listigosh, Ngiguk, Andelewi Sijik, Glenda Gordon Labilwa. You know, I am no stranger to this stage, as many of you may know. My name is Rosalie Labilwa. I'm New Brunswick's female representative, and I've been the co-chair for the AFN's Assembly of First Nations National Youth Council for the past 4 terms, and I've recently just got elected for my 5th this past Sunday, and I would also And I would also like to mention at this time that we welcomed our new executive members as well too. So just in a few minutes, I'd like to I'll pass over the mic to my new co-chair, Winter Dawn Lipscomb from Ontario. But I'd also like to highlight too that we have 2 new executive members. We have Veronique Picard from Quebec, and we have Carson Robinson from Manitoba. Regional Chief Cameron said to stand up. And amongst them, we have our National Youth Council all across from Canada. And so I also want to give a warm greetings to our new Interim National Chief, our Regional Chiefs, Interim Regional Chiefs, Chiefs and Technicians. And, you know, I was thinking about earlier today and thinking about our acknowledgement to our elder who had passed on, and thinking about the time that I had to spend with Phyllis attending the language conferences, and, you know, even going over to the Vatican, and her presence was just so beautiful. And so I'd just like to thank her community and her family for sharing such a beautiful being with us. And knowing that her legacy will continue to carry on. And, and this morning, I was very lucky to be joined by my parents and the 19 others that we had at our pipe ceremony this morning, and being able to start off our assembly in a good way. And so at this time, I'll now pass it over for Winter.
Ani bonjour, bebonendes nakas, gawin gagonish nabe winzoin, my gandadam, Wajishkinigam. Hello everybody, my name is Winter Dawn Lipscomb, and I'm from Wajishkinigam Nation in Treaty 3 Territory. I represent Ontario on the Assembly First Nation Youth Council, and I have for the last 3 years. We want to express our thanks to the Knowledge Keepers for opening the Special Chiefs Assembly in a good way. We also want to acknowledge our portfolio holders, R.C. Adamick and R.C. Picard, and thank them for all their hard work and dedication to the youth portfolio. I also want to extend our appreciation to Regional Chief Picard for taking the time to meet with the youth during our Youth Council meeting this week and providing your guidance. We're very grateful for the opportunity to connect with you and share what the AFN National Youth Council has been up to and what we've been working on, and wish to acknowledge all the hard work of the AFN National Youth Council members who continue to show up to the best of their ability and represent the voices of emerging leaders. With that, I'd like to pass it over to Rosalie to deliver our update.
Well, I thank you so much, Winter, for that, and I hope you guys are comfortable in your seats because we have, I believe we have at least 12 or 13 national portfolio updates. I'll try to make them quickly as possible, but I do want to highlight, the amazing work that our council has done within this past year. And, last night I was just reflecting and seeing where we all are in our different capacities and seeing our passions and what really drives us as young people and being able to have that representation on this national and international level. So starting with back last year, members of the NYC co-facilitated the National Forum on First Nations Education held from August 17th to 18th, and I believe that was held in Toronto. And on September 26th, members of the NYC were given the space to lead a youth gathering the day prior to the start of the National Climate Gathering that was held in September back in Fredericton, and which then had led on to an NYC member to moderate a youth panel so for the young people to share their reflections and their participation at the youth gathering and being able to talk about their concerns on climate change. And this gathering has demonstrated how dire need the climate change is. Not dire need, the dire climate change is, but it's also highlighted the ways we have harnessed our traditional eco-knowledge and brought new and diverse voices to the table and collectively worked to make ideas come to life. Our national portfolio number 3. On November 8th and 9th, a member of the NYC spoke on a panel on First Nations inclusive language revitalization at the AFN Languages Forum in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. And a member of the NYC joined the AFN delegation to the 27th Conference of Parties, or COP27, for the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change in Egypt last year. The AFN delegation participated in many discussions highlighting First Nations climate leadership, including at the Indigenous Pavilion and Canada's Pavilion. An NYC executive member participated in the closing ceremony with the National Youth Council president and an elder from the Women of the Métis Nation organization. In December of 2023, members, that's wrong, of 2022, members of the NYC participated at COP15, the Biodiversity Conference in Montreal, Quebec. Governments worldwide came together to agree on a new set of goals to guide global action through 2030 to halt and reverse nature loss. Portfolio number 6. In January of 2023, members of the NYC participated in roundtables on the Honorable Senator Rosemary Moody's National Strategy for Children and Youth Initiative. The initiative aims to develop a framework that highlights and addresses the issues faced by children and youth in Canada. The NYC strongly recommends a distinction-based approach when discussing a strategy for children and youth, as First Nations youth may experience diverse and unique struggles compared to non-Indigenous Canadians. The NYC's contributions from the roundtable will later be developed into a report released by the National Day of Child on November 20th, 2023. And on to number 7, in February 2023, a member of the NYC attended the annual Water Symposium and Trade Show held in Calgary, Alberta, on behalf of the portfolio holder to observe and participate in the important conversations around water. The AFN hosted a national MMIWG2S Plus gathering on February 14th to 16th in Vancouver. and the gathering was an important opportunity for members of the NYC to engage and hear stories of the MMIWG 2S+ survivors and families coming together and reflecting on the work that has been completed to date on the National Action Plan to End Violence Against Indigenous Women, Girls, and 2S LGBTQIA+ people, and the First Nations Action Plan and the implementation of the 231 calls for justice. The second National Asset Management Conference and Trade Show took place on March 7th to 9th in Gatineau. Infrastructure is a representation of our physical surroundings and space, which is foundational to outcomes in education, health and wellness, governance, and more. Youth are essential components of the First Nations workforce to lead solutions and projects in communities, and as well as stewards of a sustainable future. Number 10, on April 3rd, the NYC met in advance of the Special Chiefs Assembly to discuss the United Nations Declaration Action Plan. This discussion focused on using the action plan as a mechanism to promote, incorporate, and uphold our existing treaties. On April 17th to 28th in New York City, members of the NYC attended alongside AFN Environment and Health Sector, and the NYC members spoke and also had moderated a panel and also delivered a statement on behalf of the National Congress of American Indians and AFN. Our members attended many side events and plenary sessions to observe, learn, and network with Indigenous people from across the world. We're getting there, guys, just 2 more. And the NYC Health Portfolio attended the National Health Legislation Forum on May 31st to June 1st in Toronto. And lastly, on June 13th, my birthday, I had the honor, as well as with some other members, to attend the inaugural gathering on Indigenous laws and to learn more about the ways that Canada's processes must make space for Indigenous laws, particularly within the specific claims resolution processes. And with that, that is the end of my update, and I will now pass this off to Winter to tie up the rest of our update. And I'll also just love to extend a super warm welcome to our territory. You know, I'm not from Nova Scotia, but my great-great-grandfather comes from Bear River, so I guess I could claim these parts as well too. But I hope you really can feel the love and the power that we have as a Mi'kmaq people and our hospitality, and I really hope that you enjoy this week and have plenty of seafood. So thank you so much. And lastly, here's Winter.
So I want to acknowledge the work of the NYC over the last year and all the ways that which youth have continued to show up, in addition to the roles they have as parents, students, and working professionals. So looking forward, the NYC has developed a strategic plan which guides their focus and work. The NYC is committed to ensuring that cultural health, wellness, and unity are grounded in all aspects of our work with First Nations youth at community, territory, regional, and national levels. The NYC strategic plan centers around meeting the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual needs of youth. The main priorities of our strategic plan are to support the culture, wellness, and unity, strengthening external relationships, regional and international engagement, enhancing communications and reporting, building governance and policies, and increasing funding and opportunities. Over the 2023 to 2024 year, the NYC will continue to work with AFN Communications on developing a communications plan to implement components of our strategic plan, work to maintain a visible and substantial presence, and strengthen youth portfolio holder responsibilities, including AFN secretariat meetings, conferences, and various AFN committees and working groups. To collaborate with the AFN Executive Committee on amplifying youth priorities, and to build relationships with the AFN Knowledge Keepers Council, Women's Council, 2S LGBTQIA+ Council, and Veterans Council. We often say that we need youth to occupy spaces, to share their voices, yet we never allow for their ideas, experiences, or perspectives to be realized. We call upon the communities and regional organizations to bring your youth with you, to conferences such as these. Give them an opportunity to learn and gain the knowledge to bring back to their communities, to be around people that spark their curiosity and nurture their desire for a better tomorrow. We cannot talk about closing gaps without the active inclusion of those inheriting the future. It is imperative for First Nations youth voices to be represented in all places and spaces. By continuing to advance our vision under the strategic plan, we are working towards the now, as well as a future that is inclusive and representative of our priorities. Going into this assembly, I ask that you hold on to this. A leader inspires through empowering those around them. They recognize their place in organizing for the collective betterment of their communities and kin. A leader loves their relatives enough to hold themselves accountable. To not hold yourself accountable is to deny yourself an opportunity to grow and learn. As emerging leaders, we recognize the deep importance of leading by example and paving the way for our future generations. Drive and integrity are characteristics we aim to exemplify in order to maintain the conviction and courage to carry out our work. Our strength as Indigenous peoples comes from our authenticity and who we are as peoples. Remember that your community is behind you. Your ancestors have guided you to where you are today, and we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. We leap from the work they started yesterday, and that little bit we move the mark today is progress and healing for our future. But we cannot forget the people who put us in these positions and the accountability we owe to them and to ourselves. With that, thank you, Miigwech, for your time.
Well, thank you so much to our National Youth Council. Can we give them another round of applause, please? It's been a real honor to be a member of the National Youth Council as well, and so I thank them for giving their reports. Next up, I want to introduce our two LGBTQIA+ council reports, and to welcome up Chief Alan Polches.
Quay. Woolly Spuzzle, everyone. Elders, veterans, Regional Chief, Interim National Chief Joanna Bernard, band councils, youth, veterans, brothers and sisters, delegates, but more importantly, friends. Woolly Spuzzle, Nitaliwis, Sagamalam Polches, Nuche Au, Sedunxes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alan Polches. I'm the Chief of the St. Mary's First Nations. I'm a two-spirited, proud Wolastoqey person. I want to, of course, acknowledge this beautiful, beautiful territory that we have gathered here today and for the next coming days ahead. The land of the Mi'kmaq, the people that we share this beautiful territory with in Atlantic Canada, also known as Wabanaki. The Wolastoqey and the Mi'kmaq people are the first people to see the beautiful sun that rise from the east every morning. That sun that, of course, ignites our spirit. When we awake and put our feet on the ground, we know our spirit is awakened and we get up to honor the day and do the work that we need to do. And this is why we have gathered here today and for the next couple days to do the work, as the Interim National Chief has alluded to, for our people. It's time that we look ahead, we discuss, and we take all matters into consideration for all of our peoples that we're leaving in our communities and being here today. It is an honor to be representing the AFN 2S LGBTQIA+, representing the Council here in the Assembly today, and I'm here to provide an update. First of all, I want to acknowledge the Interim Regional Chief, the Interim National Chief, but at the time she was the Regional Chief, Joanna Bernard from my home province, New Brunswick, for appointing me to this role. The 2S LGBTQIA+ Council held our first meeting, imagine, our first meeting a year ago in Vancouver at the annual General Assembly. This was a significant step in getting the 2S LGBTQIA+ Council up and running. We have arrived. I also want to acknowledge the other members of the 2S LGBTQIA. That sounds like a song, right? 2S LGBTQIA. We'll make a rap out of it. Council, for your time and dedication over the past year. We have appointments for 7 regions, including the British Columbia, the Yukon Territory, the Northwest Territories, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, beautiful Nova Scotia, and of course my region and my home, New Brunswick. The realities, lived and experience of 2S LGBTQIA+ community members are unique and are required their own space. Their place and voice within this decision-making, structure and process at the AFN. We are looking forward to fulfilling the remaining vacancies over the next year so that we have a full council to weigh in on a number of ongoing issues that affect our communities, but more importantly, our citizens and our young people. We see you, we hear you, we are you. Looking ahead to our work over the next year, we will be increasing our presence to support the work on missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and the 2S LGBTQIA people. We recognize that when the National Enquirer started with their work on the MMIWG, that the 2S LGBTQIA+ community needed to be included. We are eager to bring our voices and perspectives to the work around the implementation and ensuring that the government is held accountable to make actions to address the root causes of the violence against our people. We appreciate the welcome from the AFN Women's Council, who have been the lead on this work and the opportunity to work together. So Chiwaliwin for that. I want to thank you for allowing me to be here today to give you this update. I would like to acknowledge the previous leader, Roseanne, for creating this space, to allowing us to be here. Look forward to our current national leadership, Interim National Chief Joanna Bernard, for the continued support. No matter where or who you are or where you are today, we have to understand, moving forward, that our voices and our presence, because every child matters. May the beauty of the Mi'kmaq land treat you well while you are here in this beautiful territory. And I'd just like to acknowledge my council that is here, that is joining me, and the support from my home community as a two-spirited, proud person that I lead. With that, I just want to always say, always be kind to yourself and be kind to other. Waliwin and Walawin. Have a great assembly.
I'm going off schedule a little bit here. I apologize. I just want to recognize all the chiefs that are on Zoom, that if, you know, during the day, that if they do have anything to say, that they can raise their hand. We want to hear from everybody. And I just want to also say that I'm here to unify. That was my platform as regional chief for New Brunswick, is to come together and work on issues all together. And I know that we have some concerns with some regions, and I'm going to do my best to get everybody's voice here at the table so we can be unified as a country. So we have a lot of work to do to get that to happen, but I'm determined. I'm looking for some help for others from Alberta and see what we can do we got to get everybody on board. And I want to also thank, and if the staff from the AFN Secretariat for all the hard work. I think they're in the room. Could we give them a round of applause for all the hard work? Thank you.
First, I want to thank our Two Spirits, QQIA and plus for their reports, and also recognizing how different we all are, but our similarities as well, and being respectful of that, because we all know who we are internally, and sometimes, you know, it's hard to speak about the things that we feel and to be comfortable in these spaces. So I want to thank the Assembly First Nations for making this space more inclusive and welcoming to our relatives and to our Two Spirits LGBTQIA+ Council. So thank you. I did want to shift and say that our French and English interpretation is available, and so you can click on interpretation global symbol if you are needing that. I do want to turn the floor over to our interpreter, Marsha, who is a sign language legend, I want to say. She is from the Oneida Nation and is Turtle Clan. Marsha is deaf, but she's a mother, and she's a grandmother and a great-grandmother. And so Marsha and her husband, Max Ireland, have developed Oneida Sign Language and are working hard to revive other First Nation sign languages across the country. So let's please congratulate and welcome up Marsha.
Sigoli, Teyuhun, Dagwegum, Dayan, Miyugets. Hello, I am Marsha. Yanko, to all of the chiefs, regional chiefs, council, elders, our veterans, our youth. Yanko for honoring me and allowing me this space to be here today. I am going to do a little bit of an introduction to you with Oneida Sign Language. So we'll do some review. Sigoli, yeah, you can copy me. Sigoli. With your left hand, Sigoli. Nagitwa. 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 Nagiwa means, a literal translation would be by. Yonko, Yonko, Yonko. Yep. Just in English would be thank you. We'll also acknowledge Miigwech, Miigwech. And in the western areas of these lands, we will use this sign for thank you. West, yeah, the west. I had said the east, but it's the west. I apologize. The west. Miigwech, Yanko. Yanko is Oneida, and Miigwech we'll see in other parts of these lands. I'm hoping Regional Chief Hare is around. Are you around, Regional Chief Hare? Oh, where is Regional Chief Hare? Oh, he disappeared. That's okay. I was hoping he would share with you what I taught him yesterday. What about our Oneida Chief Todd Cornelius? Could you please stand up? You can see Chief. Do you remember me teaching you this sign for Oneida? Can you share it with everyone? Sagoli, there we go, yeah. And hands waving. So you saw me wave my hands. This is for deaf First Nations. We wave our hands to signify waving, signify clapping because I can't hear. Oh, I've just been told Regional Chief Hare is here. Oh, would you mind standing up? You got it, yeah. Yes, yes. Sionko to all of you. If anybody is interested in learning a couple of signs, please don't hesitate to come on up and just give me a little tap on the shoulder at any time. Yonko. Oh, Yonko.
Thank you, Marsha Ireland, for introducing your sign language. It is absolutely beautiful. And I did learn something. She was teaching me some of the clans, the beaver, the deer, and so I'm learning, I'm trying. So I want to pass the floor over now to my colleague, co-chair Adam.
Miigwech, thank you very much, and a very important lesson with the interpretation. So Miigwech for that. So it is now, what time is it? 11:19 local time. Of course, various time zones across the country. We do have delegates joining virtually. So next we have our procedural motions. So we have two procedural motions, one dealing with the rules of the Assembly, rules and procedures, and the other dealing with the agenda. So first of all, we'd like to deal with the rules of procedure. The rules of procedure that is in your packages, you do have copies. It's been available online. Once you're registered, there is also a link that you can access the rules of procedure. There is not a lot of changes. It's fairly similar to previous rules of procedure for previous assemblies. There is one slight change, and of course that the assemblies will start at 9 a.m. So there is a recognition. We do recognize that various time zones are joining. but the decision was made for this assembly to proceed at 9 a.m. local time. We know that the host region, the host First Nations, have a number of events that are taking place after 5, and the decision was made to show respect and to be able to finish at 5, so we will be starting at 9 a.m. So that's one slight change. Regarding quorum, so if you look at the rules, they are rules 23 and 24. So quorum is 51% of chiefs and proxies that are registered present in the room. So we do require 51% of those registered to be in the room to make decisions, to pass resolutions. Of course, in order to pass resolutions, we do require 60% positive vote in order for a resolution to carry. So the registration count is done 1 hour after the call to order each day. So we had the call to order this morning at 19 minutes after 9. 1 hour after that, we got the registration count, and of course, the quorum is 51% of that number. Just wanted to be clear. So there's two things. One is the number required to make decisions. The next one is the 60% positive vote required for a resolution or a motion to carry. Chiefs and delegates, I also would like to remind you of rule number 32. And again, this was touched on as part of the opening, the sunrise ceremony that took place early this morning, as well as the elders' comments, and also as part of the comments from the various councils. Rule 32 reads, every person in attendance at the session must conduct themselves in a manner that is respectful of the honor and decorum of the assembly. So we have a lot of business to deal with. So a reminder that we are to show respect. We also had the youth co-chair remind us of the 7 teachings. And I just want to refer to that actually is the fact of being respectful is a rule in the rules and procedures. One more note that I'd like to make, the time allotted for speaking to issues. So of course, in the rules, for a chief that wishes to introduce an item, you have up to 5 minutes. For any other chiefs that would like to speak to a resolution or follow up on a specific matter, you have up to 3 minutes. We know it is not a long time, but on the agenda for the next 3 days, we have over 40 resolutions to deal with. And it's very important that if you have something to say, that you try and be concise and clear on your comment or your direction, and be mindful and be respectful that there is a lot of discussion to take place. There are a lot of issues that need to be addressed, and that is the purpose of the time allocation. Also, at a previous assembly, there was a request that we have the time countdown shown up on the screen. That way, that helps you be familiar and be aware with the countdown so that you know how much time you have to address your issue. So again, those are some of the things that I wanted to highlight in the rules of procedure. So at this point, I do have a motion on the floor. I do have a mover and a seconder for the motion. The motion reads that the First Nations in Assembly move to adopt the rules of procedure for the AFN 44th Annual General Assembly held July 11th to the 13th, 2023. It is moved by Chief Byron Louis, who I believe is Chief Louis at microphone 3. Thank you very much. Seconded by Chief Alan Polchis, St. Mary's First Nation, who I know is here. It's at microphone 3 as well. So the mover and the seconder are present. Would the mover and seconder like to speak or address the issue on the motion to accept the rules of procedure?
Byron Lewis, Chief of the Okanagan Band, and it's to support the motion, to support moving the motion for acceptance of the agenda as presented.
Thank you very much. Again, this is not dealing with the agenda yet. This is the rules of procedure. Agenda will be forthcoming. Seconder? No. Okay, thank you very much. So the motion is on the floor to accept the rules of procedure. I do see a number of chiefs at the microphones. Again, this is on the rules of procedure. Can you just raise your hand if you'd like to speak to the motion to accept rules of procedure? Raise your hand. I see none. I'm going to check online. I see none online. Again, because we're virtually, I need to take 3 opportunities. Second call, third call. Any comments on the rules of procedure? I see none. On rules of procedure, microphone number 2.
Chief King Kiaslagi Nishnabek, I'll be first. I support the motion.
Thank you very much. So with that, I'm going to call question. Can I have the polls open online, please? On the Zoom, can I have the polls opened? And can I have an indication on the screen in front of me or down on the floor that the polls are open? There we go. The polls are open. Is there any opposition to the motion to accept the rules of procedure? Any opposition? Second call. Any opposition? Final call online. I guess online we're going with the poll. Any abstentions? Any abstentions? Third and final call. Any abstentions? I see none. All in favor, raise your hand. We'll get some exercise. Thank you very much. Motion is carried. So that is the rules of procedure. As co-chairs, we will follow this. This is your direction. These are the rules that you have implemented. With respect, we will follow those rules. Next, we'd like to go to the agenda. So we have the agenda up on the screen, please. I'd like to get confirmation that the agenda is up on the screen, and I'll just wait for that. There we go. We have the agenda both in English and French. If I can scroll to the top, please, of the agenda. Again, we have a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda. Mover and seconder are present. It is the same chiefs. I believe moved by Chief Byron Louis. Can I confirm that? Yes. Seconded by Chief Alan Polchis. Yes, we'll be seconding the motion. So we have the agenda up on the screen. I will go through it. And again, this is the final draft version to be presented to the Assembly. A reminder, we do have many resolutions to deal with, over 45 resolutions. As co-chairs, we have been reminded that chiefs have traveled long distances and traveled to deal with some of the important issues that are on the agenda, including passing the resolutions. If we spend too much time on specific issues or specific resolutions, that takes away from those important discussions leading towards day 2 and day 3. So again, it's a very tight, very compact agenda, a lot of issues, a lot of resolutions, so we'd like to allocate the time to go through those and accommodate those properly. So we do have a lot of work to go through. So I will go through the resolution. The motion is to adopt the agenda. We have it up on the screen. If you can scroll down, I will follow what's up on the screen. So, of course, at 9 a.m., well, I will say that this is the annual General Assembly convened at the Halifax Convention Centre, July 11th, 12th, and 13th, 2023. And the agenda starts on Tuesday at 9 a.m. I just want to confirm that is Wednesday. I need the agenda for Tuesday on the screen. There we go. So at 8:30 we had the grand entry, the opening prayer with we did have on the agenda Grand Chief Norman Sillyboy. Unfortunately, he was not able to make it. There was a death in the family, so he did not make it. We did have the host officials and the Territorial welcome. We had the opening address from the Interim National Chief, Joanne Bernard. We had the AFN Knowledge Keepers Council report, the AFN Women's Council report, the First Nations Veterans Council report, the AFN National Youth Council report, the 2 SLGBTQIA+, and I can't sing that the same as you could, Chief. And we had those reports as well. We had a quick session on the translation. At 10:30 on the agenda, we are a little bit behind, but we have the adoption of the rules of procedure for assemblies and the adoption of the agenda. 11 a.m., we have the audited financial statements, the AFN NIB, as well as the NIB Trust. 11:30, we have a plenary on the Indian Residential Institutions update. On the schedule, we have 12 o'clock, a lunch break for 1 hour. At 1 p.m., we have a special honoring of Saskatchewan Cree journalist Connie Walker, a Pulitzer Prize and Peabody Award winner. 1:30, we have an update on resolution number 13, 2020, becoming a role model in ending sexual orientation and gender-based discrimination within the Assembly of First Nations. That'll be led by Dr. Gwendolyn Point, Amanda Barnaby Lehu, and Debbie Hoffman. At 2 p.m., we have emergency resolution number 1, which is the appointment of a chief electoral officer and the timing of the election of the national chief. At 2:30, there is a plenary session on the agenda, the Chiefs Committee on Charter Renewal Update. That will be for a half hour. 3 p.m., we have plenary on there, but there may not necessarily be a presentation, but it is the response to the Métis self-government recognition and implementation legislation. And we have a resolution as part of that. That's draft resolution number 33. At 4 p.m., we will continue with resolutions, starting with the Indian Residential Institutions, draft resolution 35, and then dealing with water, draft resolutions 30, 37, and 39. And of course, we will end the day at 5 p.m. A reminder, it is on the agenda that there is a host event at the East Coast Party at the Pacifico Dance Club. So that is hosted by the host region and the host First Nations. Day 2, Wednesday, July the 12th, 2023, starts at 9 a.m. We will have a plenary session here in the Assembly Room on National Climate Strategy. 10 a.m., another plenary on specific claims. 11 a.m., a plenary on First Nations policing as an essential service legislation, the National Indigenous Justice Strategy. 12 o'clock, we'll have a lunch break for 1 hour. We will reconvene at 1 p.m. with resolutions dealing with environment, draft resolution 31, lands dealing with draft resolutions 29, 28, and 11, policing resolutions, draft resolutions 10 and 34, dealing with rights, draft resolutions 18, 33, 43, and 44. We are hoping for a wellness break at 3 o'clock for 15 minutes. We'll see how things progress that afternoon. At 3:15, more resolutions dealing with language and learning, draft resolutions 1, 38, 40, and 26. Social development, draft resolutions 2, 5, 12, 15, and 20. And then resolutions dealing with health, draft resolutions 6, 32, and 36. We will wrap up at 5 o'clock. And again, there is another host function, the lobster supper and the dance at the Pavilion 23 at the Halifax Seaport. Again, we'd like to show respect and acknowledge the host region and the host First Nations. Thursday, day 3, July 13th. If we can go back to the top, again, there will be the sunrise pipe ceremony that takes place actually here in the assembly room at the back with the open windows, with the light coming in at 6 a.m. And of course, registration throughout the day in the ballroom level, and there's also the Circle of Trade in the convention hall that's part of the this convention facility. At 9 a.m. we will reconvene. We'll start with a plenary on the United Nations Declaration Act National Action Plan. At 10 a.m. we'll have a plenary on safe drinking water for First Nations legislation. There will be an update. 11 a.m. a resolution on infrastructure, draft resolution number 17. 11 a.m. we have the Honorable David Lametti, the Minister of Justice for the Government of Canada. 12 o'clock we'll have a lunch break. We will continue with resolutions at 1 p.m. Starting with housing and homelessness, draft resolution 24, economic development resolutions, draft resolutions 13, 25, and 27, and then support resolutions, draft resolutions 19, 45, 7, 8, 9, 16, 21, 22, 23, and 41. And time permitting, if there are any late resolutions that have been submitted, that is when we will do those once we've dealt with all the on-time resolutions. At 3:30 p.m., we will have the Honorable Mark Miller, the Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations. And then 4 o'clock, we will begin our closing protocols, closing remarks with the Interim National Chief Joanna Bernard, closing prayer, and then the closing ceremonies. So, Chiefs, delegates, that is the agenda we have before you. I do see a number of chiefs at the microphones, also a number of hands that are raised online. So just to let you know, as co-chairs, what we will do in recognizing speakers, we'll follow this order. We'll go in a circle, start with microphone 1, 2, 3. Microphone 4 will be virtually online. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll come back. So it does not matter what order you approach the microphone, we will go in that circle. And I do, again, we're dealing with the agenda. I do see 2 hands raised. I see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chiefs at the microphones. I will go to the mover. The mover can speak up to 5 minutes. Anybody else can speak up to 3 minutes. So we have to pass an agenda. I see many speakers. If I give everybody 3 minutes, this is going to go well over an hour. So we'd like to get into the discussion. We'd like to get into the agenda and get into the decision-making part of this assembly. So at some point, I will have to cut the speakers list. And what I'm thinking is right now, I will cut the speakers list at those that are on the microphones. Unfortunately, it would just take too long. If you are in line at the microphone, we may not get to you. So we need to make a decision. We will call for a vote to accept the motion, to accept the agenda. If not, if it's not approved, then it's back to the drawing board. So with that, I will go to the mover. Who is at microphone number 3. You have up to 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Byron Lewis, Chief of the Okanagan Band, and I support to move the motion to accept the agenda so we can get on with the business of our people. And that's my comment.
Thank you very much. Seconder, Chief Polchis, would you like to speak to the motion to adopt the agenda?
Yes, I just support that motion for the floor to, of course, move things forward for our people, and let's get on with our business, and that's what we all come here for.
Thank you very much. So again, we have a number of speakers. We may not get to everybody. We'll start with microphone number 1. Again, state your name and First Nation.
Chief Bruce Archibald, Taquatagavon Nation. You know, I was hoping that before we adopted the agenda that we would be able to add a resolution to the floor here, to the chiefs. You know, in regards to what's going on about our National Chief, Roseanne Archibald. You know, I believe that, you know, some of the processes that we went through in regards to ousting Roseanne Archibald from the National Chief's position. You know, I believe, you know, the chiefs in Assembly, but not just a certain amount of chiefs. I believe all the chiefs should have a vote on how these processes are being done. You know, from what I can remember, is that the chiefs vote in the National Chief. You know, I think that's something that we're kind of ignoring the fact here, the big elephant in the room. You know, it's something that we have to do properly, you know, in order for us to move forward in a meaningful and positive way, you know, on how this process was rolled out, you know, was not fair whatsoever. And what I want to put on the floor was a resolution on reinstating Roseanne Archibald as our national chief and do the process properly. You know, letting the chiefs have the say on who our national chief is going to be. You know, it's, you know, I feel today that, you know, we're ignoring the fact of what's actually going on. You know, the chiefs had spoken last year in Vancouver about a process that everybody, the most of the chiefs agreed to. And it seems like we're trying to ignore that and sweep it under the rug. So I wanted to state that today, you know, to all the chiefs that did support Roseanne, you know, to stand up and speak on the wrongs that have been done. So I'd like to put that on the floor to the chiefs and the proxies. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Archibald. Again, just a reminder to chiefs, we'd like to stay on topic. The topic right now is accepting the draft agenda as presented. Chief Archibald, I just want to clarify, Chief Archibald, I don't know if you can hear me. Chief Archibald? Chief Archibald, I'd like to clarify whether you're asking for an amendment or what you are asking. Again, we are trying to stay on point. The discussion right now is to adopt the agenda as presented. And I just want to clarify what it is you're asking. I hear your comments. Are you saying you support the agenda as presented, or are you asking for an amendment? And if so, we need to be very clear.
Apologize, Mr. Microphone.
Microphone number 1, please, up to 3 minutes.
Hello? Okay. Yes, I'm requesting an amendment to the agenda.
And what is the amendment?
To have the resolution put on to reinstate Roseanne Archibald, National Chief.
Which resolution?
Pardon?
Which resolution? I don't have a copy
No,
of
we're asking, well, I'm asking to see if we could put one on the floor. I'm asking the chiefs and the proxies.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chief Archibald. So at this point, here is the process. I will turn to the mover and the seconder if they accept the request to amend the agenda. It is their prerogative. They'll make the decision. Ultimately, it is you, chiefs, registered online and in the room, that will make the decision. I will call for a vote on the motion that is on the floor, and you will ultimately make the decision. So I will go to the mover. Is the mover there? Oh, there he is. Microphone number 3, there is a request to amend the agenda to include another resolution. Are you in support of that request?
I respectfully decline that, the request to make amendment to the motion.
Thank you very much. Normally I'd go to the seconder, but the decision by the mover is to decline that request. Thank you very much. Microphone number 2. Again, at some point I'm going to have to close and we'll have a vote, and you, chiefs, will decide whether or not we proceed with this agenda. Microphone number 2, please. Up to 3 minutes.
Thank you. Khalsalem, Chair of Squamish Nation. Just requesting a friendly amendment to the agenda. This afternoon at 2:30, there's a plenary on the Chiefs Committee on Charter Renewal update. In the resolution package that was distributed to chiefs and proxies, there was draft resolution 4, which is a resolution submitted by the Chiefs Committee on Charter Renewal. We've been working with AFN staff to make modifications to that resolution. It was submitted on time. It was reviewed by the Resolutions Committee. It was removed by the Executive Committee 2 nights ago from the agenda. And so just asking if resolution number 4 could be added back, requesting an amendment to the agenda to add draft resolution number 4 to follow the plenary session today at 2:30 with the Chiefs Committee on Charter Renewal update. The resolution itself has been modified to address a number of the concerns that were raised by the Executive Committee, and we're just hoping to bring that to the floor so Chiefs can decide on that matter, which requests a very simple mandate from Chiefs to do further consultation and engagement on charter renewal. So just making that request.
Thank you. I'll turn to the mover of the motion to accept the agenda. There is a request to add an additional resolution to the agenda. Chief Louis.
Yes, Byron Lewis, Chief of the Okanagan Band, and I will support that, that amendment to the agenda.
Thank you. Seconder, you do support that request. Thank you very much. So the mover and the seconder have supported the request for the resolution to be added. Thank you. Microphone 3.
Yeah, that was Judy Wilson, proxy holder for Swiss Indian Band. That was the same request I had because this work on charter renewal has been going on since 2017 or earlier, and they were on time resolution. And I think it's really important to look at the resolution when they have the 2:30 plenary today. So I was just supporting that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I do see a large lineup on all of the microphones. If you are making a request or speaking to something that we've already dealt with respect, I ask you to acknowledge that, and then so that we can move on to other issues. Next, I will go to microphone number 4, which is online virtually. And I'm just looking, there is a hand up. Looks like proxy Roseanne Archibald, Hornpain First Nation. Go ahead, proxy Archibald. You have up to 3 minutes.
Hi, everyone. I am proxy for Chief Ron Cokestis of Hornpain First Nation. And first, I want to acknowledge the creator of the world around us and our place within it. I'm coming to you from the traditional territory of Tsleil-Waututh and acknowledge everyone on the territories you're on. I thank the elders for the opening prayer and the pipes that were raised and all the sacred items in the room. I want you to know, Chiefs, that this process is being railroaded. There were movers and seconders pre-selected. Normally, these agendas are moved on the floor. They're not pre-selected. And, you know, I need Chiefs to know that this is an affront to democracy. You know, what's happening at the AFN with the way they are conducting this meeting and trying to close ranks against the Chiefs and trying to usurp the authority of the Chiefs by hand selecting certain Chiefs to move and second items and not allow debate and not allow any amendments to the agenda is wrong. And the fact that Chief Louis is refusing to allow amendments to the agenda to have a democratically, you know, a democratic process of debate and to have a process where we can discuss in a good way how the AFN has gone off the rails, you know, and how we can get it back on track is really very, very concerning. That, you know, these pre-selected chiefs are actually pushing an agenda of the regional chiefs, and the chiefs are being left out of this. And so I'm asking chiefs to stand up and to not allow this agenda to go ahead as it is, because it is a railroaded process that is unfair, that is not allowing for accountability for the political coup that happened against me by the regional chiefs. And you can see that in the way they've structured this agenda and structured the meeting. You know, they had the oath of office for the national chief without the chiefs in this room and across the country endorsing the interim appointment by the regional chiefs. And I think that chiefs in the room and chiefs online need to be extremely concerned about this development and stand up and speak. And chairs, do not shut this down. Allow the debate to happen. Do not shut this down. Thank you, Miigwech.
Thank you very much, Proxy Roseanne Archibald. So again, this is a procedural motion to accept the agenda that we have before you. If you have comments to the agenda, if you are requesting any changes, you may do so. Again, we have a lot of business to deal with, many resolutions. And again, we have been reminded that chiefs have traveled a long way to deal with some of the important discussions and the resolutions we have before you. The sooner we can get to those very important decisions and resolutions, the better. So we do have a number of chiefs at the microphone. So I'll go back to microphone number 1.
Good morning. First, I want to thank the pipe holders for their ceremony this morning. My question is on the agenda, when you come to the resolutions, and I've asked this before, and I've never received an answer from the executive or the national chief. When it comes to the resolutions, that those resolutions that affect our treaty, our inherent rights, how do you deal with those separate from the rest of the resolutions that affect all other chiefs? Because we do not give our consent, and Tsuut'ina Nation has instructed AFN that you do not speak to our treaty and our inherent rights. Those were the rights holders, and we want to retain that authority. So I'd like to know, how are you going to deal with those? Do we have to get up every time there's a resolution to abstain us or to keep us or to object to it? Because when we don't, silence means acceptance, and we do not give you consent or the chiefs in assembly to address our treaty and our inherent rights. So I'd like an answer this time, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Proxy Crowchild. Proxy Crowchild, can I get you to approach the microphone, please? Just for the record, if you can state your name and the First Nation.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Regina Crowchild. I'm proxy for Chief Whitney, Tsuut'ina Nation.
Thank you very much. Miigwech. So there is a question that has been asked as co-chairs of this assembly, just to help facilitate the discussion. The office of the co-chairs cannot respond to that specific question, but that is taken. The note is taken, very important, and that will be taken back to the AFN executive as well as the Secretariat to look at providing a response. So, miigwech, thank you for that. Microphone 2.
Anin, Zongabwe Dijnikaz, Bizing Dunjaba, Chief Scott McLeod, Nipissing First Nation. I just want to speak in opposition to the friendly amendment, but first I just want to acknowledge the work that they've been doing. They put a lot of time and effort, and I appreciate that. However, I was named as an alternative to that process for the charter renewal, and unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of just sitting in the back seat watching these meetings go on and not being able to participate. So I didn't get to spend a lot of time getting updated and being part of that charter renewal. Again, I appreciate the work that's been done. However, I mean, this is, structurally shifting the organization, and I think it needs more time to allow the regions to be updated and have reviews on the work that's been done before it goes to the floor. We have 45 resolutions, from everything from parents that were affected by child abduction to Indian residential schools to education, all of these things that we have to do. We cannot waste time debating or reviewing the charter on the floor. It's going to take too much time, and I don't think it's that big of a rush that we can't take the time to update the regions on the work that's been done so that it'll be a smoother process when it reaches the floor. So I'm opposing the amendment to have it on this agenda. Miigwech.
Thank you very much. Miigwech, Chief McLeod. So again, on the agenda is the plenary on the Chiefs Committee on Charter Renewal update. The friendly amendment is to add the resolution. So thank you very much. Microphone number 3. Again, if we can stay focused on the agenda. Microphone 3.
Okay. Chief Randy Erminskin Cree Nation. Just thank the Mi'kmaq for allowing us to be on this land, but also I think in order to stay on the agenda, let's figure out why AFN exists, is to uphold and promote our treaty and inherent rights, what Chief Crowchild said. And we've got off focused way too much for the last few years. I put up 5 resolutions, only met 1, and my term's going to come up here. We barely touch on those rights, and we need to focus on those and really to satisfy our people, because when they repealed the Indian Act, we had within 1 year, what are you going to tell our people? We need to get focused here, and I really hope that we can move up the rights resolutions a little more to maybe sooner than tomorrow, because everybody's at different stages of their in their agreements, but I think the biggest thing here is to focus on rights, because like I said, we have to answer to our people. If we lose a lot of our land, our statutory rights and taxation, then what are our members of our communities going to rely on? So I want to make sure we can get focused on that, because like I said, last few years, a couple of years attending, I left frustrated, and we need to focus on this. And Thursday I got to fly home, and I have to report back to my people and let them know, okay, we didn't do nothing again. So I want to make sure that friendly amendment can be made to the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to clarify, you're asking for an amendment, and we need to be clear, what is the amendment you're requesting?
Just to move rights to maybe earlier, maybe today if we can. We have it on day 2 at 1 o'clock.
So the request is to move a specific item from day 2 to move it to today?
Yep.
We'll have to look at today's agenda, and to be honest, we are behind a number of very important issues that are on the agenda for today. Each of those individuals want those agenda items dealt with today. So there is a request, again, to move the agenda item from tomorrow to today. So I'll go to the the mover, Chief Louis. There is a request to move the agenda item from tomorrow to today, and the agenda item currently is at what time? I'm just clarifying here. So I'm trying to find the agenda item that you're referring to. Which specific, is it a resolution? And if so, which resolution number?
Yeah, resolution, sorry. 1 o'clock.
Which resolution, sorry, Chief?
On rights.
So there are resolutions 18, 33, 43, and 44. Are you asking for all of them?
If we can move them up, I said I'd like to hear them before I leave, and so you can make some suggestions, right?
Thank you. So what that does, again, I'll move to the mover and seconder, but what that does is it takes away, again, all of the very important items that will be dealt with today. And I just want to note that the agenda was crafted in such a way that it follows the various themes. But there is a request made. I'll go to the mover, Chief Louis. Are you in favor of the change?
Byron Lewis, Chief of the Okanagan Band. I respectfully would have to decline, because I do believe that would cause a lot of movement of existing motions and where you actually place them and what can be done. So my apologies.
Thank you very much. So with that, I will not go to the seconder. I'd like to go back to the previous Chief McLeod that was up, and I do apologize in terms of process and procedure. The lights are bright. I can't tell if Chief McLeod is still in the room. Yeah, Chief McLeod is still in the room. So, Chief McLeod, when you were up, you were asking, you indicated that you did not support a change to the agenda to have draft resolution number 4 added to the agenda. And I just want to clarify, in consulting with my co-chair, were you asking that it be removed and go back to the original agenda?
Yes, the regions have not been updated on the work that's been done, and it's just going to, sorry, I guess I spoke before the mic went on. The regions have not been properly updated on the work that's been done, and to bring it on the floor now I think is premature, because it's the first time that the chiefs are seeing this, and there's going to be too much discussion, too much debate and questions about it. So what I'm asking is to leave it off so we can be properly updated on it and go into a fulsome discussion. And there's no rush. We can do this in December.
Thank you. So going to the mover and the seconder. Mover and seconder, the request is that regarding the addition of draft resolution number 4, that it be removed as originally in the agenda, that there be more time taken to consider the resolution. We would still have the half-hour presentation, but it's in regards to presentation of the actual resolution. So with that, again, we do take the advisement as co-chairs. We take under advisement recommendations from the resolutions team. We do go through the process to make sure that everything is in order. Our understanding is that there was a discussion and that there are some issues with bringing forward that resolution. That did come from recommendations from the resolutions team, including legal analysis. So I will go to the mover, Chief Louis. There's a request to go back to the original agenda and not include draft resolution number 4. Microphone 3, please.
Byron Lewis, Chief for the Okanagan Band, and I will decline the request to go back to the original agenda, because I do believe motion 4 speaks to going out to communities and having that consultation that is being a requirement of the charter renewal. So I do believe that's being accomplished through that motion on item number 4, or the motion number 4.
Thank you very much. So with that, the request has been declined, and sorry. I will not bother going to the seconder. With that, I will go back to the order. Sorry, we do have an order. I will follow the order that we've been going through.
Chief Lewis. He's following Chief Lewis.
If Chief Lewis, your time has started already, you're almost done your time.
I wanted to
the
keep,
remainder.
I declined the request to amend the motion to go back to the original. That's what I declined.
Correct.
And I want to keep that number 4 on the agenda.
Correct. And we've gone through that process. I will not go to the seconder because it's already been declined. Thank you. Thank you very much. So a reminder, we are over time already. A lot of discussion on the agenda. Chiefs, can we please stick to any other issues? If it's already been dealt with, no point rehashing if it's already been dealt with. I'll go online. Next, microphone number 4 on Zoom. Chief Kadakwapit, Fort Albany First Nation. Go ahead. If we can have Chief Kadakwapit unmuted, please. Go ahead.
Chief Elizabeth Kadakwapit, Shinkason, Bihtabego, Fort Albany First Nation, Dos Chiaman. Nagumaga amigos, no pagit ng English ni Jimian. Istinigi minigala how chigi emian chemando kagiminut chigi emistamagan ni magusha. Amigos magiten metonome iminig. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chief Elizabeth Kadakwapit from Fort Albany First Nation. I would like to request to have the resolution to support and reinstate National Chief Roseanne Archibald be added to the Chief's agenda. this resolution was deferred and not presented at the in-camera chiefs meeting held in June 28th. And even the mover and the seconder, that they weren't consulted when this was done. So I believe that was improper to do that. So I like to read the therefore, since I'm allowed a few more minutes. Therefore, be it resolved that the First Nations in Assembly endorse Roseanne Archibald in her role as the National Chief and endorse her continued leadership in her role so that she may finish her full term to July 2024. 2, direct the regional chiefs on the Executive Committee to respect and uphold the authority of the First Nations in Assembly and work towards peace, healing, and reconciliation within the AFN. 3, direct that the regional chiefs on the Executive Committee remove themselves from overseeing any investigative process that involves themselves or their colleagues to ensure the integrity of the process and abide by the AFN Charter's rules on conflict of interest. Number 4, directing henceforth all investigations and allegations against members of the Executive Committee be done through a culturally safe, traditionally grounded, and trauma-informed process and utilize the services of independent firms with the qualifications for working in an Indigenous workspace. 5, direct the regional chiefs
30 seconds.
To follow the directives of Resolution Number 3, 2023, which would require the AFN Executive Committee to work together to find win-win solutions for everyone involved, including the cease using appropriate means to usurp the will of the FNIA and to have peace, healing, and recognition within the AFN as a whole. Direct the AFN to separate politics from business by eliminating political and administrative roles and functions through
Miigwech, Chief Kadakwapid, if you could wrap up, please. Time is up. Miigwech, Gananaskaman, Hukumakan. So again, Chiefs, ultimately, it is your decision how to proceed. We will have a vote on the draft agenda before you. As co-chairs, we do not make the decision. You will make the decision. But at this point, there has been a second request to introduce a resolution dealing with the former National Chief. That request was already made. I already went to the mover and seconder. They denied that request. A second request has been made. I'd like to stay focused. If a decision has already been made, let's bring forward other issues. But with respect, this one last opportunity, I will go to the mover and seconder with the request to amend the agenda as just indicated. And I do apologize, Chief Lewis, for mispronouncing your last name. Chief Lewis, as the mover, how would you like to respond to that request? Microphone 3, please.
Martin Lewis, Chief Lee Okanagan Band, and again, I support my previous statement that I do not support amendment to the agenda.
Thank you very much. So with that, I will not go to the seconder. So again, if you have any other new issues, we did already close the speakers list, Chiefs. So we need to move on to accept the agenda or not. But I will continue on for a very short period. If we can be brief and concise, microphone number 1, up to 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Cherish Clark. I'm proxy for spokesperson Thom of Taka River Tlingit First Nation in Atlin, BC. I'm new to council at my nation, and I don't know the details of the HR report, but I was told that it is incomplete and that people were forced to make a decision with very little information. I wish that we had more of an opportunity to uphold the first female national AFN chief with more respect. Politics is often a man's world and far from a matriarchal way of being and knowing. I've always supported women in politics, and I've supported women when they choose to step forward into a leadership role. I've been a political volunteer for at least the past 15 years, and in my nation, we are all women on council. I was requested by all 4 other women in my nation to be here in support of Roseanne Archibald. Last year, I paid my way to AFN in Vancouver to be a delegate and to drum in the national chief. Last year, I watched a few regional chiefs lead the charge to oust the national chief, and now they're elected into senator roles. So please forgive me, I don't have all of the information, but I would also like to see it come to a vote for us to reinstate Roseanne Archibald. She was the first national chief, and earlier she was blocked online, so I was really happy to see that she got in as a proxy. Thank you and respect.
Miigwech, thank you very much, Proxy, for those comments. And again, the question has already gone twice to the mover and the seconder. We are now well over 30 minutes in discussion. And I'm being told there is a point of order online, so I will go online to deal with the point of order. Proxy Cardinal Summers from Chapleau Cree First Nation, we will go to you on the point of order. On Zoom, if we can have Proxy Cardinal Summers from Chapleau Cree First Nation, please. You have up to 3 minutes.
Hi, sorry. My name is Doreen Cardinal Summers. I'm proxy for Chief Keeter Corson for Chapleau Cree First Nation. I'd like to call a point of order regarding the amendments to the agenda. The conference booklet on page 43 can be interpreted that amendments need to go to a motion for a vote on the floor, and it's not up to the initial mover and seconder. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So there has been a point of order called, and because there has been a point of order called, we will take a minute, we'll pause. If you're joining virtually, we'll put something on the screen. We'll take a short recess to review the point of order. Miigwech, thank you. We will come back, and at this point we would like to clarify exactly what the question is on the point of order, what exactly the point of order is. We need some clarification. We've gone to the rule in the rule book, and it is not it doesn't the numbers don't make sense based on the rules that we are looking at. So Proxy Cardinal Summers, can you again clarify what rule you are looking at? And just to clarify
Sure,
the concern.
I read it on page 43. I'm trying to flip back and forth to find the exact statement. If you could give me some time.
Yeah, so we need a rule number that you are referring to.
I believe it's rule number 8.
So we looked at the initial rule that you had given us, and that is not the rule that you are referring to.
Rule number 9, sorry.
So rule number 9 does not deal with the issue you are talking about. So we have had a discussion. If you're able to clarify which rule you are talking about, we will deal with it now. Otherwise, we will make a decision on the point of order and we will move forward. Again, can you clarify which rule number you are referring to?
It's on page 43.
And what rule number is it?
9.
Thank you very much, Miigwech. Thank you. So we've taken a look at the point of order. Just to be clear, page 43 is not part of the rules of procedure. That is outlined as part of the resolution process, but it is not officially part of the rules of procedure. As well, on page 43, rule number 9 refers to resolutions. We are not dealing with a resolution. We are dealing with a motion to accept the agenda. Also,
right, which is being blocked.
Can I have the microphone muted? Can I have the microphone muted, please? I will provide a response, and then I will go back to the Zoom platform. I will provide the response. Point of order was raised. The co-chairs had the discussion. So we are looking at the section that has been referred. Again, it is not part of the rules of procedure, but it is dealing with resolutions, and it says amendments from the floor are allowed if they comply with the intent of the original resolution. Amendments will be accepted when duly moved and seconded. The amendments must be submitted in writing to the Resolutions Committee and the note taker. Further to that, the process when dealing with resolutions is if there is a request for an amendment, we go through that process, and then we go to the mover and the seconder whether or not they approve the requested amendments. If they do not approve, it is not brought forward as part of the resolution. If they do approve, then it is included. So nonetheless, although this is not dealing with motions, even if it did, we have gone through the proper process. So that is the decision based on the point of order. So with that, that is the response, and I will go back again. Speakers are recognized when their microphone is turned on and unmuted. I did hear a comment again from the Zoom, but it's important we move on and make the decision. Chiefs, you will make the decision. Back to Zoom. If I can have the speaker unmuted, please.
Adam, I was here before the last speaker. Yeah, come on, like, I was here, like, point of order, like,
Thank you.
We're going to go in order.
Thank you. There is a point of order that has been raised. The point of order that has been raised is that the speaker is on now. Join the speakers list later. There is another speaker in the room that was standing at the microphone first. So that's a point of order that has been raised. We'll be right back. Thank you. So a point of order has been raised. And just to get back to you on the point of order, if a point of order is raised on the floor, that needs to be dealt with right away. So that is why we went to that point of order online on Zoom. So just to clarify your point of order. So we will come back to you.
Point of order as well, Adam.
Yes, you raised the point of order, so we brought that, and that is the response to the point of order. But I am going to allow a quick opportunity. You've already used up your 3 minutes online. There is a response to your point of order. If we can have the Zoom unmuted, please. The speaker that was on.
I respectfully disagree with the process. I think when a resolution is tabled on floor, that it's up to the chiefs in assembly, who are the rights-holding members of the AFN, to vote. And I don't think that it should be up to the chairs or two people sitting in the room that have brought an agenda and attempted to have an agenda pass. Sorry, I was up at 4 a.m. this morning for a caucus, so I'm getting a little tired. I'll have to chew some coffee grinds here, but I don't think it's up to two people on the floor to disallow these resolutions that are coming forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Proxy, for that. Just a note moving forward, anybody that's in the room can be visually seen, so we're going to ask anybody that's joining virtually, if you are speaking, if you can please turn your camera on. Again, thank you for the comment. We are following the rules of procedure that have been set before you, and we are following the same process for passing motions and resolutions. Thank you. So I'm going to go to microphone number 2.
Good morning, Chief Wilfred King, Kias, Saugeen Gull Bay First Nation. I will not be supporting the resolution to include the reinstatement of Roseanne Archibald as National Chief. The Chiefs in Assembly had met on the 28th of June, and that matter was discussed, that matter was resolved. I know that there are people that are saying that I didn't attend the meeting. Well, everybody had an opportunity to attend that meeting. Everybody had a right to cast their vote. So as far as I'm concerned, and this was called by resolution at the Assembly in Vancouver. So everybody had an opportunity to participate on the 28th to cast their vote in support or not in support of the former National Chief. So that matter of business is already done and concluded. In terms of what we're talking about here today, there is a point of order because I don't think the resolution to reinstate Roseanne Archibald has even gone through the resolution process as far as I know. I don't know if it was brought as a late resolution, and if it was a late resolution, the Executive Committee must vote on that resolution. It's very clear in the rules, it's very clear in the Charter that a late resolution must go to the Executive Committee for their approval, at least half of the Executive Committee. I don't think that's taken place. So I'd like to move on with business, and I will not be supporting the amendment to include Roseanne Archibald be reinstated as National Chief. Miigwech.
Thank you very much.
He's not done. Go ahead.
I'd like to yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
Okay, with due respect to process, the time had stopped, and I don't have the time that Chief King still had, so
He
very
had
briefly.
a minute and 30 seconds left.
So very briefly.
Okay. All I want to say is that while we sit in here and argue about point of order, amendments, we have people in our home communities who we represent and advocate for that are sitting in poverty, that are being murdered, that are gone missing. We have a Winnipeg landfill that's not being searched. The longer we delay, the less we are going to do for our own people. So let's check our egos in at the door and do our job. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Miigwech. So I had closed the speakers list with one more. Is that Chief Gould? Yes. If you would defer your time or if you wish to speak, but you are the final speaker, so I'll go to microphone number 1.
Well, and thank you. Nindelawisi Satmolo Ligigusu. Monoswala Luisi, Ichka Buzik. My name is Chief Roddy Gould Jr. of the Atwood First Nation. I don't speak my language very much, just a little bit. I'm a direct descendant of Shimanaki Residential School here in Mi'kma'ki, Nova Scotia, and I will not forgo my responsibility as an elected official to speak on behalf of my First Nation. So I do not yield my time. With respect, I'd like to say, on behalf of the Charter Committee on Housing and Infrastructure, I want to make sure that those issues that are put to the table in resolutions are addressed, because the time of sending these chiefs home without an answer to the questions that our people are asking, the housing, the safe drinking water, those are the resolutions that have to be answered today. I call on you as leaders, do what you're elected to do, represent your people. Do not allow the relitigation of policy and procedures at this forum. We are better than that. We are here to send these kids home when they leave NAG next week from my territory in Mi'kma'ki here in Nova Scotia. And send them home with a roof over their head and clean drinking water to do. That is your job and your obligation. With that, I call question.
Thank you very much, Chief Gould. Question has been called. Co-chairs will take that under advisement. At this point, had already closed the speakers list, so we will go to question. Again, I just want to clarify the question before you. We do have a draft agenda. The mover and seconder had agreed to include draft resolution number 4 as part of the agenda topic for this afternoon at 2:30. Mover and seconder agreed. There were other requests to add additional items to the agenda. Those were turned down by the mover and seconder. Ultimately, chiefs and delegates, it is your decision. It is your decision. You will decide whether or not to approve the draft agenda that is hopefully up on the screen. Can I have it put up on the screen, please? It is not the co-chair's decision. It's not the executive's decision. It is your decision. So with that, can I have the polls online open, please? The polls are open in the room. Is there any opposition to proceeding with the draft agenda we have before you? Any opposition? Second call, any opposition? Third call, any opposition? I see none. Any abstentions? I see 1 abstention, 2 abstentions, 3, 4, 5. At this point, I'm going to get staff to help me out. Please keep your hands raised, please. Thank you. Ten abstentions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All in favor of the motion to adopt the agenda? Raise your hand, please. Thank you very much. You can lower your hands. Can I have the polls closed, please, online? Thank you. Again, chiefs, it is your decision. You have spoken. The motion to adopt the agenda as discussed and as amended is carried. So with that, we will continue on with the agenda. I will turn it over to my colleague, Weena.
Miigwech, Adam, and miigwech to you all. So we now have rules of procedures. We now have an agenda. Very, very proud of you all, and happy to continue this important day of this 3 days AGA. And on that, I think we all deserve to eat. And it's now 12:30 almost. I think what's the... Oh, it's exactly 12:30. So we'll break for lunch and we'll come back in 1 hour. So at 1:30 we'll come back and we'll figure out the agenda for the afternoon, the sequence or the order. So we'll get back to you on that at 1:30. Miigwech, thank you. Have a great lunch break.